All right. So can you just talk a little bit so I can make sure that the audio is coming through?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about anything. What should I talk about? Let's see. Jason, do you want to start eventually in the NL and the AL? I mean,
So
I figure people expect
generally,
us to do a lot of
generally
sparrow talk,
we
but
we start with the team that's won the SCS. That'll be Cleveland, and then we'll just go through
that
their
makes sense.
whole
Okay.
division. Um,
Okay, so the Ponds division is where we're starting. No
yeah,
problem.
is it not streaming? Okay, we are. Looks like we're streaming.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Well, then I got to get the link up. We start with the team that's won the. Okay, I can hear my voice on the stream, so all right. And let me put that up in general. And clearly that did not go through like I wanted it to. Well, oh, there we go. All right. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to the 2063 Skyline season. Tonight, we don't have Ryan. We don't have AJ. We don't have D Rich or Trent. But what we do have is our GM of the Marlins, Mr. Bob. What's up, buddy?
Jason, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. First time, not that long time, but since I've been in the league, I'm a big fan.
So, so you've been in the league a few years now, in game years. And we'll get to the Marlins and how you've
Two
ruined them.
seasons, 2 seasons.
Yeah, so we'll get to the Marlins later and how you've ruined them. But first, we are going to start off with our champions, and that would be the Cleveland Indians and Daryl. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on the Indians because there is a champions pod coming soon. I've talked to Daryl, and we're probably going to do it
Ooh, nice.
kind of soon. So I don't want to get too deep into them tonight because I'll let him really break them down on his own pod. But obviously, this was his first time he's won in the SCS. He's rebuilt this team from the ground up. It was built through the draft and some really shrewd trades. And they slaughtered everybody. I believe the SDS was a sweep of the Cubs.
Yeah, especially after Vergara got hurt. Who
Yeah.
expected it?
So sorry, Jeff. Nothing you could do. This team just kind of just they pounded their way. I think this offense was built on just a very strong offense and enough pitching, and I think an elite bullpen really led the way. Obviously, now he's lost a couple of those arms now. Vergara is going to be back in about 2 months. Lee Shape is out for most of the year. So what do you think, Bob? What do you think of the Indians?
Indians are a really strong team. Obviously, not to make it about me, but I traded him Shulman at the trade deadline, and that was a big pickup for him. It's just a really good team. Even still, like Shape right now, he still has. I mean, if we're talking about this season, a really good team. I think they're the favorites to win the Ponds again, if you ask me. But even with Shape's hurt right now, Vergara's hurt, but Quinones, it looks like, just got hurt. But they're a really, really good team.
Yeah. Wow, he lost. I didn't realize he lost another reliever. His bullpen has been decimated, and that's really was the key
Tough.
strength of the team is that bullpen was just nasty, and he lost all three of them. So he's 5-1 on the season. He had a really good opening sim. I would expect them to win the Ponds again, win the bullpens back. And Daryl's aggressive too. He made the Shulman trade. He traded for Seagraves. He's made some strong moves here to kind of lengthen his lineup from like Ned Weston and Brad Bracamonte and Guzman and other guys like that. So it's a very strong team still. Pitching a little iffy, but I would expect them to be the class of the ponds.
Yeah, if he could tread water until his bullpen guys come back in a few months, then absolutely they're like be a very dangerous playoff team to face.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on to who finished in second place in this god awful division. Was it the Angels? It was the Angels.
Good question.
So, they were kind of a 500 team last year. I think
Number one pick, Angels.
Yeah, I believe it was the Angels. Missed out on the playoffs on the last sim. They got cold, and the Expos snuck in above them. Yeah, Mikey does. He trades for pre-arb guys, and he's done it again. With I believe it was Prescott Britton, who he traded for from a pretty good looking outfielder. Mikey doesn't screw around with his team. He trades for what he needs. Yeah, I'm a little like I don't love this team, but I don't hate it. He spent some money on Christmas. Yeah, I don't love the team.
He re-signed Egner, which is one of the reasons I traded him. I wasn't sure if that was a great idea.
Yeah,
but he was pretty good for him. Obviously, Michelangelo White is a really good player.
Yeah, Riley Agner's a pretty good pitcher. I don't hate the deal. I think that's a fine deal. I mean, most guys with those bars and his overall are going to get that in free agency. But what I'm looking at in terms of his salary page, he's going to have
currently
some decisions to make on the pitching staff. Watford's due up, so he's going to have some turnover there. Excuse me. I think the pitching staff really kind of drops off a little bit. Rob Lewis is maybe a nice little number 3. So, what do you think, Bob?
It's a good team. I mean, it's going to like last year. It'll probably be fighting for one of those playoff spots at the one of the final wild card spots. I agree that the pitching is solid. It's nothing great. I mean, I traded Egner because he's a playoff choke artist, but he's a really good regular season pitcher. The bullpen's kind of meh also, so they'll be fighting. They're going to be over 500, and they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. But I mean, Mikey will make trades if need be if he thinks his team needs stuff. So we'll see.
Also, Mikey's waiting to go to 26. He hates 25. So, yeah, I think this is a borderline team for the A seed. But again, we're one sim-man thing.
It's going to depend also on how many teams in the Sparrow get in, if they beat up each other.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get a lot of free wins in this division. There's some not-so-good teams, so... and I think we're about to get to those teams. So the team that finished third, I want to say it was Boston. Yeah, I mean, this was the team with the moves last year that didn't work out. And
trading first for relievers.
Yeah, just a lot of questionable moves. D. Marina's up. He's 23, so it probably makes sense now. But just... he brought him up too early.
Castillo is like one of the best hitters in the league by stats, like ratings. I mean,
yeah, I think he's the number 1 rated batter. I mean, he's only on pace for 20 WAR, so Yeah, that
Is
was
that
part.
all?
Of, I believe that was the Paul Cooper trade. So, yeah, I'll have to look at the Red Sox a little bit. Obviously, they're off to a good start. Um, so Stan Davidson, I believe he traded for and signed an
I
extension.
like the Boston. There's a lot of talented players there. I've talked to Dave. I mean, he sort of has questions if like lefty pitchers will work in his park. I don't really see by the splits why it shouldn't, but Del Rio hasn't really been great for him so far. But he has Connor, Todd, and Del Rio all lefties. So I know he has some hesitancy about that, but really looking at the ballpark, it's lefties are worse than righties on homers. So like lefty pitchers, righties, I guess it's not that big a split difference.
So yeah, because I believe he had a cow last year that Todd just could not pitch in Fenway. So there's probably some truth to that. Like Lincoln Todd was really good on the road and just dog shit at home. So, but I
Yeah, that's what
believe
it's been.
Lincoln Todd was good for 4 WAR, so he wasn't a complete bust. But so I think the big thing this year was there was a dev up through the dev lab for Arrington, which got a pretty big reaction in Slack, and David's going to need this guy to be good. So I don't know how much because yeah he hasn't been good. He wasn't even good for 1 WAR like last year. He has really good hitting bars. Line drive
But he's not that good defensively. I mean, if you
No,
look
he's
at
not
it.
good defensively.
And if he has to play DH, then you look at Castillo's defensive numbers. Castillo's -10 WAR, -10 ZR every year. So I don't know, like you can play both of them at the same time.
Yeah, well, one of them has to play. One of them has to play in the outfield. So Castillo,
And that might be an issue.
see, with that arm on Castillo though, man, he can't play right field though. Like that's not a good, like, thing for right field.
Yeah, no,
Who's he have in
absolutely.
right field? Like this guy is. So there's some good things on Boston, and then there's some things that you just shake your head at. Defense is not going to be strong. Especially outfield defense. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. He gave up.
Yeah, they don't have their 2064 pick.
Yeah, it probably doesn't have 2065
They have
picks.
2065.
But so I mean, this is it. He's going to be because he dealt away all of his picks. This is it. Like you could only trade for so much.
Yeah, I mean, the team's young. Yeah, it should like be pretty good for like the hitting. Like Castillo's only 25, but should be good for a few years. But who knows? I mean, if that pitching could actually pitch up to their ratings, even like for a full year, then they could be fighting for a wild card spot, fighting for that second place in this division.
Absolutely. See, and that's the thing. If players play to their bars, I think he'll be fine. What I worry about is if a couple guys,
Famous OTP last word.
Yeah, if guys get hurt, like he might not have anything. He doesn't have anything behind this, so depth could be an issue. Again, not. I think on paper this team should be better than the Angels. Will they be? I don't know. Because I would.
Yeah, but they should be over 500 either way.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just gonna keep it on moving. And let's see. Who finished fourth? Wanna say it was Portland or Vancouver. Let's go with
Portland
the
or
Hops.
Vancouver,
Because,
I don't know.
because we all want to talk about the Hops. And usually we're not talking about the Hops this
Yeah,
early.
but are we going to talk about who's?
So they may have
He
a
was
catcher.
he was named. We should not say the catcher.
Yeah, they may have a catcher who may have an awful contract. But let's be positive first. So, the
Let's
rebuild.
talk about Jason Ball then. He's awesome.
Yeah, the rebuild is kind of over here. Like he went into a deep rebuild. It's kind of over now. He hasn't had the best luck on the rebuild, but this lineup is probably the best he's had in a very long while. I'm excited about Jason Ball. Casero's up. Yeah, I mean, the problem I have is that none of these guys are like he has probably one hitting stud who I would consider it, and that's Casero. Jason Ball is going to be very good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a superstar. But again, this is the best looking team he's had in about 8 years. So I don't know if the pitching's going to hold up.
Interesting. What do you think of his pitching? I mean,
I don't like his pitching.
Ballesteros is pretty good, but
Somebody named Biff Wood is your first starter. I don't think that's going to bode well.
I mean, he has Pickle on the way.
Yeah, he does have Pickle. He may come up. I'm sure Tyler will want to, but he's already a 45. Yeah, those bars look pretty closely like being able to call him up.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
And he's going to be 23, so like you're not like you're calling up a 20-year-old like I do. But I don't think there's going to be enough pitching here to really be competitive. Flores looks okay. Amador looks like filler to me. Yeah, I don't. And again, the bullpen may or may not be good. He's got a converted starter as his closer. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out. It might not. T.J. Henderson should be the closer to these bars, but he hasn't pitched like it. So, what do you think? Is Portland a playoff team?
I don't think Portland is a playoff team yet. I like some of the players on the team. Like a lot of the players, even like Ballesteros. I wonder, like he's not an ace, but he could be a good 2 or 3 under Pickle in a year or two. Caserino is going to be a really good player. Also, I love Ball. I mean, I would try to trade for him at some point. But like overall as a team, they're not yet good enough to compete for the playoffs. I like the pitcher he took in the draft, March something around. But yeah, it's a good team, but not yet over 500. They're not going to compete for the division this year.
No, but they're not going to be dog shit. So I can see them being
that's good.
Like within like a couple of games of 500, and for Tyler, that's a win-win. Now I feel like we should talk about the catcher. Yeah, so what we're not going to do is talk about his shortstop. We beat that horse to death. But what we got to do is talk about Izan Moya, and I don't know what Tyler was thinking. He's tried explaining it in
He's a great framer. Maybe that's what you're thinking. He's looking at his blocking and framing.
Yeah. I don't know why you do this ever. I wouldn't do this to my best player on my team. I'm not giving up.
I mean, there are versions of the game I would do this, but not in like 3 or 4.
No, I'm not giving up.
I mean, it's just such a big risk.
No, and he gave up min salary years, right? Just
yeah, absolutely.
I just wouldn't do that ever. Like those min salary years are just so valuable to a young team, and you gave it up. Just
I mean, I'm
Tyler.
looking at it. It is a decreasing salary. It goes down from 18 mil down to 6 million. So maybe if he thought that as his team was getting better, that paid more now, and then when other guys would come up for free agency, then it'd be cheaper. Like I'm trying to think about it, but no, 'cause it doesn't really make sense. But
I mean,
it is pretty inexplicable.
I think he did it after he had like one good month. I mean, he's probably the best defensive catcher in the game. But he's not going to hit the ball. He has 40 contact and 30 avoid Ks, and 40 I. So
I have a more interesting question, if you don't mind.
go ahead. Bob.
What would it take? What would it take for him to move? Like, how untradeable is this deal? Like, would it, two firsts? Like, what would it take for someone to take?
I don't
a
think
team that's
anybody's
rebuilding to
taking
take
this
this spot?
contract. So it's not untradeable because of the later years, but nobody wants 18 million for the next 2 years.
Right, you're gonna have to attach. Well, like, how much do you think you'd have to attach?
You're attaching a minimum of a first. If it was 5 years, 18 million for
At
every
least,
year,
yeah, maybe
like
first,
that.
second, third.
That's when you start getting into multiple firsts, especially in this league. But like right now, because it's descending in value, it gets better obviously in the third and fourth and fifth years. But nobody wants this guy right now. He's a good defensive catcher. He's not going to be a good offensive catcher. I believe the jury's out on that. So, but again, let's not spend 3 hours on Moya, right?
Right, but like, is Tyler spending the money on anything else currently?
I don't
like,
know. I
the
think
2 years
he
now
wants
that's
to show
bad. I don't think he has
himself.
any of the big contracts on the book.
Yeah, I think that's why he did it. Is that he tried explaining it that he didn't have any other salary. So yeah, I mean he I think he signed Self to play the outfield, and that was a decent move. Although Self is a shell of what he used to be. Attorney he traded for. He needed a bat. He looks to be kind of a shell of what he used to be. But those guys are expiring, so he has no money on the books. Like next year, he just has Moya, and this
Right, so it's not like terrible, but it's
no,
bad.
because a lot of these guys he probably wouldn't even keep. So he has no money on the book, so it doesn't kill him. It's just a really bad idea and execution. And again, I like to kill Tyler on a lot of the stuff, but you know it's warranted in most times. So I will give him some props. This is the best looking Hops team in a long while. They could get it in the A seed, but I probably next year, maybe when Pickle's up. I believe the next team is Vancouver. Actually, I'm still
There's only
looking
one
at the
team
Hops
left,
farm.
I believe, right?
I'm just
Or no,
he
and
does have a
London,
couple
and LA, I mean.
prospects that are getting ready. So there's more help on the way. So I think Vancouver's next, and that's our commissioner. Tore it down. Oh crap! There's a trade process. I don't think Ryan's available.
You want me to talk about Vancouver for a minute while you go do that?
Why don't you talk about the Cascades, and I'll see if I can get that trade.
Sure, no problem. Let's see, Vancouver, I think for Ryan, I don't know, I can't say maybe the biggest trade he made last year was he traded with me. He got Zachary Matthews, who was a very good young switch-hitting left fielder. He had 2 WAR and like 90 starts for Vancouver last year. He's good contact, with some power, really good eye. I was looking for a first for him, but I didn't get that. Settled for taking his injury risk, Sean Pritchett. Otherwise than that, I mean, Vancouver traded away a lot of guys. So on the major league team, there's not a ton. Denton, Sakakira, Matthews, like I mentioned. He traded away most of the other guys who were helping.
Keep going.
The minors is sure, no problem. Sure, no problem. The minors for Vancouver is solid. Santo and Burnett are young starters. In the majors, really, I mean, Eichhorn is an interesting player. I wondered, I mean, I think he's tried trading him, but putting up literally 0 WAR last year in 149 starts probably doesn't help the offer.
Keep going, bro.
Denton's an interesting player. I mean, one year of Major League service, 24 years old.
130.
No worries, all good. I really like Denton. I mean, I don't think unless there's some unless he has a good dev up defensively or take some classes, in the off season, he might be a DH, but that bat will play absolutely. Ratone's still playing center field. I mean, assume he's been in Vancouver for a while. He's a solid center fielder defensively. Put up 3 to 4 WAR a year. I wonder why no one tried to come trade for him. I mean, he's making $18 million a year. That is a decent amount for what he actually ends up putting up with the bat.
612.
Let's see. Otherwise, for Vancouver, let's go take a look at their draft because I am running out of things to say.
I've almost got the trade done. Goddamn Ryan. Okay, this is gonna go to the Yankees.
Ryan drafted Markel Harry. It's an interesting outfielder. Not one of my favorites of the draft, but I'm sure his scout has him much better. What else is there to say about Vancouver? I am out of things.
Actually, I think Ryan got to the trade.
Not great advancement, clearly.
All right. Okay, I'm back. So we're talking.
Okay,
Vancouver,
so what's your opinion on Vancouver? They are more than sick of my.
This is a full-on rebuild. He sold everybody he wanted to sell. Gallagher went just recently to the Braves. I saw, and I thought that was crazy. Because he can't hit a baseball. There's a couple little bats here, as you said, Matthews and Denton. But I don't think Ryan's trying to win with this team. I think his team went through, as I call it, the circle of life. He won a title. He tried to keep it going as long as he could. The writing was on the wall. And he moved everybody. He kept Ratone, ironically.
Yeah, I mean,
well, because he tried moving him a couple years ago. Nobody wanted him, and then when he tried to sell, he said, "I'm going to keep him." So it was kind of funny. This is a 70-win team at best. There's no pitching on this team. Couple relievers look okay. Clapper and Sak-A Kahara, who probably can be traded if Ryan wanted to try to get some more draft picks. He could probably move a couple relievers.
Yeah, I mean, with the state of he could probably move him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could probably move those 2 young bats if he really wanted to. What he really should do, and I know he won't because he said it, is Eichhorn should be on the block. So he's 27. He's nowhere near his window.
Right, yeah, I said Eichhorn and Ratone are the 2 leftovers.
Yeah, like somebody who needs a shortstop really bad would probably give up, a first and a second. I don't think he gets 2 firsts, but he gets a first and a second.
I mean, he had literally 0. He had 0 WAR last year. I don't know if he's getting the first for him.
People go crazy for those bars, man. Yeah. What was his fielding at? Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah, I think this fetches a first. For sure. Somebody's going to want a shortstop in this league. So yeah,
That's
there
fair.
really isn't that much
And he's a
yet.
captain, but whatever.
So I don't think there's much in the minors yet. Yeah, I don't see much. Maybe Lee Barnes comes up, but he doesn't really look like a number one to me. Although he's a number 44 spec, probably a 2 or a 3. He's not quite ready yet, but he's getting close. Yeah, there's not much here. I think this is the beginning of the rebuild. Yeah, and you know, hopefully Ryan can get sell some more of these young guys and get some assets. Okay, let's move on to the Dodgers.
And
They
wait,
shockingly sold off and are in a rebuild. And Craig has said that he hates it.
one final note on Vancouver.
Okay,
Sorry
go
to
ahead.
cut in, but I think they own the Boston pick in '64. I
Yeah,
mean, that's a pretty good asset.
yeah. So, Craig is in a rebuild for the first time ever, and he fucking hates it. So you obviously don't know this about Craig, but
I
he
thought he did a
doesn't
good job,
rebuild.
though.
He doesn't rebuild. He retools, and he full on is in a rebuild now. So I think Craig was a little active in the off season to try to make the his roster better. I don't see it. I think he's going to have a. I think he's a 75
Yeah, but like he
team at
didn't give
best.
Barraza long-term money, so I don't think it hurt.
Yeah, I think he was trying to just not lose 100 games, but and make it a little bit more enjoyable. What is going on? Hold on, I got tagged in Slack.
They're
So
saying it's
apparently the
laggy.
stream is lagging, but I am hardwired into my Wi-Fi, so it's not going to drop. So, back
Okay,
to
so then I mean the podcast will the next day we can listen to if need be.
well, I didn't. You were cutting out there.
Okay, no problem. Don't worry. Just let's keep going.
Okay. Dodgers rebuild. Not much here. I mean, yeah, there's not much here to get excited about. Baranza was signed, but that was kind of just to fill in the lineup. He's not much in the lineup
There are
here.
a couple really good young relievers. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd want to trade them. You could probably re-up them for like first, but
So John Ward is one sexy closer. This gets you value, but again, he's 23. You're I don't know if Craig has the appetite to trade him because he should. Just not much.
yeah, what you could get a lot for him.
Yeah, somebody wants a closer like that. Other than that, I mean, there's not much to
Makakioso, yeah, the
sell
shoe guy.
here. I'm just looking at it. I go, the bullpen arms look okay. McAfee looks really good, or McAtee.
Yeah, McAtee and Newell are both also really good.
Yeah. And Castley looks good. Man, his starting pitching is not very good. That's not going to get you very far if you're looking not to lose 100 games. I don't know how this team doesn't lose 100 games. I just like this is definitely the worst looking team in the ponds. So, I mean, Vancouver looks pretty bad to me too.
No,
But
100%. I agree with you.
yeah, I think them and Vancouver are going to be looking at.
I like Zach Small. He has a pitcher in AAA, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna bring him up this year, but he's pretty good. But it's gonna be a pretty long year for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think him and Ryan are going to be looking at about 95 losses. Zach Small looks okay, yeah. That was a trade too with Boston. Yeah, there's just not much here
Interesting.
to really talk about. I'm sorry, Craig. I don't think you disagree too much. So, all right, Bob. So after we get done with the division, we usually rank them 1 through 6. So why don't you go first?
Okay, I mean, sure. Cleveland, I think, is obviously the class of the division. And then I'm going to go with Mikey for second place. Between him and Boston, I could see it going either way, but I'm going to go California 2, Boston 3rd, Portland a solid 4th, and then really that's a step down between, and then you get to Vancouver and the Dodgers. Probably Vancouver 5, Dodgers 6, if I had to rank it.
You know, I kind of agree with you. I think Boston could be a second place team. I think the talent's there. I think the pitching's better there. And we'll see what happens. I generally agree. I don't have any faults with that.
Yeah, California and Boston should both be fighting around at the end of the wild card.
Yep. All right, Bob, where should we go next? The Sandoval or the Alvarado? You pick.
Let's go to the Sandoval as the Yankees just swiped the guy I was about to draft. Fuck.
All right, who won the you know who won the Sandoval? The fucking Padres again.
JP?
Yeah.
Yep, JP.
JP did it again. Somehow has won this division 2 years in a row. So, and again,
But AJ's won the World Series 2 years in a row, so it's like a give and take.
Yeah. This is the same team from last year. He brought the band back. I think he was a little handicapped on money, and so he couldn't really make a splash move. And JP's had a little bit of health issues, he said, so he may not be around as much. But I think this team looks pretty good. Obviously, last year they won the division. Chiapet is still around. Luciano Pettit's still around. Graham O'Neal's here to play shortstop. I think this is a well-rounded lineup. Maybe gets a little tough at the bottom.
Benavidez finally made the majors.
Yeah, that's a big-time bat there. He's 25 too, so I think Perlman was a big bat for him as well. He would get, but yeah, I think the lineup gets a little iffy at the bottom with Torres and McHugh and O'Neill. Those guys are defensive guys first, I think. So once, maybe some work there to be done if you could find an upgrade there. I think the pitching's going to be solid, if not unspectacular. Roca and Hoffman, who we got from the Yankees, if they stay healthy, are going to be fine. Believe he was hyping up Murrow like last year. But yeah, I think it's, and then he obviously made the big trade with the Mariners for Thor. I don't know if I love that trade. I don't know if he's a starter. I don't know if that's.
He's in the last year of his deal. He's a really good third baseman for him.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about the Padres?
I think the Padres will probably win the division again. I mean, that's just what I think it'll end up going. But I don't think they're as strong as they were the past couple of years. They do own their own picks for 64 and 65. So knowing JP, if he wants to, whatever the double octuple down is, he could definitely do that now and maybe go get another pitcher or something that he thinks he needs. But it's still a pretty good team. The hitting should be enough. I mean, Pasco is a really good hitter. I mean, he let Gates walk in free agency because he felt he had enough offense otherwise. But like you said, the bottom of the lineup is a little bit more iffy. So, I mean, it's not a guarantee that they win the division, but they should have a pretty good team.
Yeah. Well, and especially because I believe the White Sox are retooling a bit, obviously with their big trade. I think we'll get into the White Sox next. So AJ almost had a heart attack when that trade got processed. As now, see, me and Bob could have some fun because me and Bob were obviously bidding on the same guy. So AJ did the one thing he has never done in this league, and that is trade away his stud player. It was extremely difficult. That morning he was sweating. So and I had some fun with him because he sent me the buy it now price, and I asked him straight up, if I click accept, are you going to have a heart attack? And he said yes. So that was
it was a big move for both your teams. Absolutely.
No, and obviously you are new to this league, so I don't know if you've played with AJ in other leagues. I don't know exactly where you and AJ, if you guys come from the same spot, but I don't actually, maybe AJ wasn't part of that mass from another league. But AJ does not do that. Like, he keeps his players, he signs them, and does not trade them like that. Like, he doesn't do that trade. He'll trade for somebody else's player, but he doesn't make that trade. And I was complete.
So I got to ask you, Jason, then, him not doing that and yet him being willing to trade Svella, how much did that scare you and give you like the idea that maybe he knows something you don't, then I should not go get him?
Absolutely. Because I'm like, what's wrong with him? Believe me, I'm glad that the trade took a couple of days where I could get a fresh scouting report. So I'm like, is there a dev down? Like, why AJ? If he trades a guy, it's because he's tanking. His ratings are tanking, right? Or if he gets rid of a guy, it's because
right. He has a medical report that he got or something.
Again, there is a huge risk reward there because he's had a big injury, and I think that's maybe why AJ wanted to move him because of he is an injury risk. And look, he was going to get the world from either you or from me or from whoever else was involved. But I think there was a third team. But he really
1,000%.
It wasn't really involved. But I know there at one time there was a third team that was kind of talking. But one of us was going to get him. And once he said that you were kind of, not responding, I'm like, well, I'm going to pounce. And I gave him what he wanted. I tried not giving up those prospects, but I'm going to get a deal done. So that being, and then
absolutely. So he owns your pick going forward the next couple of years. So that's a decent asset, but I think you're going to be pretty good, especially in our division. There are no bad teams. So if he gets like a pick in the 20s the next couple of years plus whatever, those are good assets to add, but it's not like it's a giant haul. The injury to Svella maybe did nick him a bit, that if he's waited for another injury, then who knows what he would be able to get from him then.
Right. Yeah, it just goes down. I think he dealt him at peak value. Because again, something else happens. Who you're not getting 2 firsts. You're only going to get 1 first. That being said, the White Sox are not going away. This is still a pretty good roster. I don't know if this is.
I'm kind of interested. He traded Slewinski, the reliever / starter, to London for like a mid-round pick. I was a little surprised that he made that trade.
So I think he got a second rounder. And in fact, I messaged AJ about that. I go, that's ridiculous. I said, how did you get a second rounder for that guy? Well, because he was set to a starter tag, and when you switch him over to a reliever, he's a 65. At the time he was set to a starter, he was like a 45 or something. I was like, but this is still a really good roster. I think they're a playoff team. I don't know, without Sveha, I don't think they're going to be a serious contender, but they're not going anywhere. Harold's a pretty good.
But would you? If you were AJ, you're saying would you rather? Should he trade something like Ronald Williams? Should he go fully in the tank? You don't want to do half measures.
So I full on asked AJ after the trade. I go, "Is this a rebuild?" And he said, "I don't know what that word means." I told him, I go, you have the perfect roster just to blow it up, get max value, because all these guys are getting a little older now. Mitchum's 29, and Williams is
except for Rosado.
Rosado could get he's a little injury prone, but you can get 2. Somebody's going to want I go back to Eichhorn with Vancouver. Shortstops are in high demand. Like AJ could get the world for some of these guys. But does AJ have the appetite to do it? Now, Skyline's different. Like, it's a daily sim. You can sim a season in 6 weeks. You know, you can rebuild in a couple months, 3 or 4 months, especially if you are just stockpiling for first-round picks. And if you draft really well, like, you can rebuild in three seasons. It's not impossible. And AJ's won 2 titles. It's, I don't think this is a contender to win a title again. Obviously, I think his pitching is a little bit, is not as good. And I mean, we'll see. I think this is a retool. I think that he's going to retool it. But again, some of these guys are not 25 anymore. So, I think he's going to get stuck in that.
Right. If he keeps the core together, I mean, it's still, like you said, a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think he's going to get stuck in purgatory where he's very good, but gets bounced in the first round of the playoffs every year. But, I mean, who was the guy he said that died? Was it Ronsky who died? But I don't have the dev down. He said he died to like a 45.
I'm not sure. Let me look.
Yeah, I think it was Ronalski who said to a 45. I don't have that. I know. Obviously my scout won't, but OSA doesn't. So that's a weird dev down. Maybe his scout has it, but yeah, I mean, obviously, this isn't the same roster, obviously, in terms of pitching that won a title, or excuse me, back to back. So, and Harvey Campbell died. Maybe it was Harvey Campbell died. So, but yeah.
Next is Montreal, I think, right?
I'm sorry? I believe St. Louis was next.
We go to Montreal next? I think they finished next.
No, it's St. Louis Cardinals finished with. I know this from this morning and the draft. The Cardinals had 84 wins. The Expos had 82 wins. So I had to fix the draft this morning.
Oh no, Higgs is going to make. I didn't do that on purpose, Higgs. I promise.
I'm sorry.
I don't want Higgs being mad at me that I put Rippo ahead of him.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't know how the Cardinals have made the playoffs the last I don't think Steve was trying to make it just happened. I think this team is a product of the American League. Just somehow getting in because the AL is not as strong. But Steve has committed to it. So Corey Neal is up for his rotation. And he's got, let's look at the pitching first. Schaefer obviously is the number one.
I mean, Schaefer is a very interesting pitcher. I mean, like,
yeah,
Schaefer. Like, I've thought about trading for him. I'm not sure how good he is, but he's young. He's an ace, but is he an ace? He's had some good years, but I don't know.
So the sidearm thing is kind of, there's something with this game in sidearmers.
Yeah, it's a make or break thing for some people.
He's been a really good pitcher in this league. Actually, he's been pretty damn elite in the American League. He's only 23. I don't think Steve is trading him. So I don't think I think Bob, those days of you trying to get him for all those first rounders, well, it's not going to happen because you have to use them now. But I don't think Steve is trading this guy.
Right, I used him now, but he was like the one guy on the border of whether I would offer the 5 picks for him. So like I never did, but yeah, I thought about it.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a playoff team again. I think.
The rotation's pretty good. I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's not His Lipschultz looks okay. He's kind of a 3-4. He's got a strong 1-2. Franklin Schmidt is back as a starter. I don't know why. He doesn't look like he's going to be good, even though he's been good. Charles Shoup's on this team again. Yeah, Steve needs to upgrade this back end.
Yeah, the top of the rotation, at least.
Yeah, I think one starter. Yeah, 4 lefties, which I like. But he needs a back end rotation guy. I know Steve said he's been looking for a starter, but I think the lineup's going to be okay. Gautreau.
It's also top
Selhurst.
heavy. I mean, it's like the first baseman, Gautreau and Selhurst are good.
Yeah, he needs some. I'm clicking on the back end of the lineup, and it's yeah, there are some upgrades to be had here, but again, Steve.
He had Cicero. If you look in AAA, that's a really good left fielder that should be coming
Jordan
up soon.
Hawks playing second base? Oh my god! Yeah, Steve, boy, man, he gets a second baseman and a third baseman. He might be in some business here. What does he have in the minors?
He has some guys in the minors who should be good with almost in a year.
Yeah, for sure. Shepard too looks.
Cicero's really good. Ledesma.
Yeah. You know what? I'm kind of gonna lump them in with like Boston and the Angels. Kind of a fringy 7th, 8th seed team. I don't think this team is as good as the White Sox. I think the White Sox are still very good. But yeah, I don't see them being better than 3rd place in the Sandoval.
I agree with you. I'd actually put them probably 4th when we get to ranking them. But
okay.
It's a solid team with some good players. The rotation's pretty good, but we'll see. They can fight for one of the 8th wildcard spots. I feel like I've said about 5 teams already.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Expos, who were a playoff surprise. I don't think anybody could have seen the Expos in the playoffs last year. I think Rippo would have.
No, especially a year after selling Starman, and then yeah.
And that trade has not aged well for Rippo. I don't think he did much with those draft picks.
Do you think so? Because Greenwald, he got Greenwald from that, and Greenwald's pretty much a year later about as good as Starman. So
I was more talking about like he used those picks and then didn't. I don't think he drafted very well. But.
Sure. So it turned out, but the picks he got Greenwald, so the picks weren't turned out not the main focus.
Yeah. Brendan, this was not one of the picks. Was Harrison. But he's got some players coming up. Craig and Lyman should be up. Well, Lyman looks really good.
And Hunt had a great year in center field as a rookie, so he's a huge keeper.
Ooh, John Hunt? Yeah, John Hunt is awesome.
Yeah.
John Hunt was one of the players I thought Rippo would try and sell, and I was like, Rippo, why don't you trade me him? And he was like, no. Now with Rippo and the Expos kind of being good, I think he was made the right decision. Obviously, this lineup it's not the greatest, but again, with Lyman and Craig on their way, probably a call-up day, it looks a lot better. I think Eversman has been. I
mean, he signed my guy Eversman, yeah, but Eversman he put him at shortstop. I tried that last year when McIver got hurt, and he was pretty terrible there. His ratings look like he should be able to play shortstop, but in his career, he's been pretty terrible there.
Yeah. Man, you paid him a shit ton of fucking money. Oh my god.
He was negative 7.6 WAR at shortstop.
I do not like that
contract. GR at shortstop at 50 games last year.
Oh my god. I do not like that contract. he paid. I guess if you're not spending it on anything else, yeah, I don't. Do you like this lineup? Because the more I'm clicking around, I'm like, I don't know. Noel Richards pretty good.
No, I mean I love Hunt. After Hunt and Eversman, he's been never lived up to his MVP season. And he hasn't been able to put up as much WAR in the rest of his career as he did in that MVP year. He's never hit that well. Sampson, Williamson, they're okay hitters, but Hunt's the only real like superstar I see in this offense.
So, Berchtold is injured for a couple more months. But again, you can't count on this guy. Man, Rippo was 5-1, but I'm like, I don't know if I like this roster enough to say, yeah, like he's gonna get back to the playoffs. Because the AL is, I mean, it's not really good, but it's going to be competitive. Yeah, I think he's going to be in the mix for that A seed, but I wouldn't be confident, and I'm not confident in that yet. He needs more.
I'd feel confident saying that like Montreal finishes above 500, maybe like 83 wins, something like that. But I don't know how much more.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. I don't. Again, we're early. There's tons of time to make moves. I think Rippo needs a bat or two. But yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's see. We have who is next? Is it Baltimore? I think it's Baltimore.
Or the Mets. I don't know.
The Mets
look
definitely
at their records last year if you want.
But the Mets are going to be interesting as fuck. But let's talk about the Fighting Yorts and the Baltimore Orioles, who unfortunately lost Aaron Willis for most of the season. And that's really going to hurt because Yort's been fighting to make the playoffs. You know, he was in a deep rebuild. Prospects came up. Kurt Ford's up. Willis was up, and now Mason's up. Chad Pack, he made a big deal for. And just it hasn't worked out yet. I think we all would have picked Yort to be in the playoffs the last few years, and his team just hasn't made it yet. Yort makes these questionable moves, and he keeps doing it like over and over again. Like he makes these moves, and you're like, why are you doing that? Like a really good example is Min-Shu Liu. We signed a couple seasons ago, and just gave him a shit ton of money for no fucking reason. Yeah, and he hasn't really been that good. He's put up 7 WAR in 4 years, and he's given this guy like $100 million. So it's these kind of moves.
Yeah, this team has looked, I thought, better the 2 years I've been here than what they've finished. I really like Kurt Farr. I mean, if you ask Troy, I bugged him a lot trying to get him to trade me Farr. He's one of the 4, however you want to pronounce his name. I tried offering him a bunch of firsts for him. I mean, if you were York now, would you think about trading with the pitching market what it is? Would you trade your ace for like a bunch of picks now maybe and try to rig a reset?
I don't think – I think York just came out of a rebuild. I think York needs to be smarter with his roster moves. York's kind of new to the game. Like there has to be smarter moves than what he's done. So I don't think he's going to tear it down because he just did that. He just come out of a rebuild.
That's fair.
It just I don't think he's going to do it. Now should he? I don't think so. Willis is going to be back this year, probably September, August or September. His rotation is okay. The problem is that his lineup. I don't think his lineup is very good. Grayson Mason, who's a fun player, is really good and is going to be good. But outside of that,
yeah, it's
Chad
not much else
Pack,
besides them. No, that's the issue.
I'm not getting excited about about Rasmussen and smoking Jay Blade. I'm not.
He has a really good player in AAA. His pick in 61, Dante Caldwell.
Fun fact, I told York to draft him. I said, York, this is your guy. He was a college player. Looks fantastic. This is a guy who probably should be up at call-up day. In fact, I might call him up. I'm not going to lie to you. I would call him up now. I wouldn't even wait. York needs a lineup.
Yeah, those bars are really strong. There's not much left to move.
York is going to be just kind of plodding along because I don't think his lineup's any good. He needs some juice in the lineup, and I think that could be a influx of talent in this lineup. This lineup needs more talent. I wouldn't wait. I'm a proponent of waiting, but in York's case, like the rebuild's over. Like
I agree with you, especially lefty and in that ballpark. That's like really that ballpark's really like aimed towards lefties.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think he needs to come up, and he needs to come up next sim or the sim after, because he's going to plod along, and he's going to start to fall behind everybody. If you wait to call up day, it might be too late. So if I was York, I would screw his time and I would call him up. In fact, I'd call up anybody who's remotely close, because I don't think you can wait around with this roster. Just like the time is now. Because once you come out of a rebuild, like there's no point.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, like if you've had other teams like mine that's had a mass call-up day, you usually don't wait for the next day. For everybody just comes up now. Like it doesn't matter. Everybody's ready. I think that's what he's kind of had.
Especially in 25, we could kill a guy at any point. You might as well bring them up when they're good.
Yeah, no, so this is the one instance where I would bring him up right now. Otherwise, I don't think this is a playoff team, and I like the starting pitching a lot. But
I think this might be the finish like sixth in the division last team, just because of I think the Mets got a lot better.
I think the Mets are closet scary, and I will credit D-Rich for mentioning them in Slack the other day, and I clicked on them, and I was like, whoa. Yeah, there is going to be a lot, and now the Mets are off to a slow start, of course. There is a lot of young talent in this lineup. It is sexy. Led by Aristo.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of young talent. Aristo.
I mean, like it. Yeah. I mean, like the Mets weren't really surprised.
Nobody's talking about him.
Mets. Wait, go ahead.
Like nobody's talking about this guy yet. He's fantastic. He's not going to be a candidate for Rookie of the Year, but goddamn, like he could win a Rookie of the Year. Obviously he's off to a bit of a slow start, of course, as we pimp him out, but there's a lot to like in this lineup. Got some veterans in there to help the young guys, but I don't think it's this year. I think maybe next year they become really scary looking. This young talent with Orta and Gamage and Cali.
I mean, I've done some.
Go ahead.
I've been interested in the Mets, so I didn't need D-Rich really to talk about them because I've been trying to trade for his backup catcher. I mean, he has Urias Campos in AAA, who's like one of the best catchers in the league. Unfortunately, he's stuck behind Callaway, so I was trying to get him from him because Callaway is obviously also the best catcher in the league, or one of the top couple. But he wants to keep him for now, which is probably pretty smart, so he can trade maybe by the deadline because a great young catcher, that's a pretty good asset. But I agree with you. I like the Mets team very much.
So I don't think there's enough pitching here. Violet Claus, he's going to be a pretty good pitcher in 2 years when the bars are fully devved in. Dollarhide and Pike are going to be pretty good pitchers. Bullpen looks, he's rocking a 6-man pen. That he might need to adjust that, but we started a 6-man rotation.
Yeah, the pitching's not there yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough pitching here to offset. I think the pitching isn't as good, so that the offense can offset this. I think if everything breaks right, I think they're going to be a 500-ish team. If it doesn't, it doesn't work out, they're, a 70-win team. But next season, look out. I think this team gets good quickly. Brandon, I don't know if he's going to be able to add some pitching. He's not super active in the league. Pops in every now and then, but...
I mean, I've talked to Brandon lately, so I think actually he is going to be looking to make moves at the deadline. He said actually that's why maybe he wants to keep Campos for now and then see what the team needs at the deadline, and then he can make some moves. So I think maybe Brandon is going to be more active with the team this year.
Okay. Well, again, this lineup is going to be pretty damn good. Like for the next 4 or 5 years, especially when we go into 26, and these guys don't die at 26 years old. So, for the first time in a long time, like, the Mets look good. Like they have a future. Like we haven't said that a whole lot on the pod. So we have good things coming for the Mets. Is that the final team in the Sandoval? It is. So let's rank them. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think the Orioles. I think the Padres will finish first. I think the White Sox are second. I think that the Cardinals are going to finish third. Expos are going to finish fourth. Baltimore fifth. No, excuse me. The Mets fifth. The Orioles sixth. What do you think?
Okay, I am going to do it a little bit differently. I got the Padres first, obviously, and that we're in agreement. I'm going to take the Cardinals in second place, just because I'm trying to win Higgs back on my side. Then White Sox and Montreal, both fighting for third or fourth. They also go Chicago third, Montreal fourth, Mets fifth, and then Baltimore in sixth.
Yeah. But again, I think there's some flexibility here where teams get aggressive. So don't get mad at us, guys. Like, be aggressive. All right, let's go to
there are a couple teams that they make a big trade on it for a pitcher, then that could absolutely sway or change things.
Yeah. So let's go to the Alvarado division. Did Seattle win that division last year, or did the Rockies?
Colorado won it, I think.
Oh, okay. Let's go to the Rockies, who they always have a pretty good roster. I think I took a lot of crap for my hot take on Bayleveld. Look, I'll walk that one back. I said I don't know how
60 homers does make it seem like he's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that one back. My bad. I think this lineup is pretty damn good, especially for his ballpark. I like the lineup. I think they are going to score a shit ton of runs.
Yeah, for those where I'm looking, it's a fascinating ballpark.
Javon Walker might be one of the most underrated bats in the league. I remember on playoff streams just hearing his name over and over again. Yeah, I don't think he. Obviously, last year he was worth. Of course, as I look him up, negative point one WAR. Of course,
Negative WAR.
yeah. Of course. But like I just remember in the playoffs, just hearing his name over and over again, when his voice would crack. Randall Gums, been a very good player. And the one thing about Kiefer is that he doesn't fuck around. He's aggressive. If you put a stud on the block, he's going to give you 2 years of draft picks. So I think this lineup is going to be pretty good. It's pretty deep as well, especially for his ballpark. Guys like Holtry are going to be just.
I
fine.
like the rotation also.
Yeah, I hadn't got to his rotation's pretty damn good. Yeah, he's got probably
Lewis, Hoffmeister, Echeverria is a new guy. Yeah, it's like, and also he has a really good reliever in Graham. So like, he has the main pieces he needs.
Yeah, I think he needs a bullpen arm, pretty bad. But the rotation is solid. Borderline on great. Echevarria is great. Hoffmeister's a stud. Hess looks pretty good, and then there's Lewis who's pretty good as well. Keep clicking on the same fucking guy, but
Hoffmeister's stamina has dropped to 35.
I
wonder how much that'll affect him. I mean, he'll probably go for 175 innings or so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting him. I'm not. He's not going to the bullpen. But that's worrisome because that's 5 innings tops. Like if he has a good outing, he might go 6.
Yeah.
Especially when you're rocking a 6-man pen, that might tax you a little bit. Roland McKnight is still on this team as well. Longtime Rocky. He's devved down a bit, obviously. But I would expect this team to be a contender to win the Alvarado again. Adds a bullpen arm or 2, could really, really be a contender.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's really all the team needs is a bullpen piece or 2. The main guys are there, and this team is going to be definitely fighting for the division title.
Yep. Let's go to the Mariners. Mariners got a bit of a bad luck today on the sim. They're very fine second baseman Jake Ellis got into a fight, I believe, at a bar, and
out for 2 months.
Fractured his wrist. Out for 2 months. Dustin should keep a handler with his players so that they don't get into bar fights. That's unfortunate.
I mean, he did sign Zimmerman in the offseason. I wonder if that put some pressure on him that maybe made him drink.
I don't know, but that's a bullshit injury to me. That drives me, like, you lose a key player, like that, a key cog of your lineup on a storyline injury. Like, one thing if you
no,
slide
1,000%,
into
it's
third
complete
base,
bullshit. Yeah, enough. Get hurt on the field or something's one thing, but
Yeah.
this is something else.
But so Scott Lane is on this team now. That was one of the big moves in the offseason. We got him from Arizona in free agency. That, I think, was a shrewd move. Zimmerman's on this team. Another big contract.
He's been playing Zimmerman at second and moved Ellis to first, so maybe it should be a little easier to at least replace Ellis for the short term.
Yeah, for sure. Well, who's playing first base? Jake Ellis, and then, well, he has, he didn't play.
Ellis
first
is playing
base as
first.
well.
Zimmerman's playing second.
Yeah. Dustin will figure it out. Like, he's one of the best ones at this game.
Yeah, this is why you have depth. I mean, this is the league.
So Ian Robertson, somebody said he dropped and slack to like a 50 overall. I don't see that. But this pitching staff's pretty good
I have
as
a
well.
60.
Like we just talked about the Rockies. This rotation is just as good. Luther and Robinson and Hikilla, however you want to say it. Somehow Dustin.
Haitikula.
Yeah. Okay, his name is Ward. Okay. Dustin shits out pitchers. You obviously are new to this league. Dustin, for 60 years, has done nothing but shit out stud pitcher after pitcher after pitcher. And
That's
does
a
it
pretty
again.
good talent to have. I
Yeah.
mean, if you have to choose.
Like, if there is... If Dustin has a first-round pick, and he normally doesn't trade him, his first-round pick is normally a starter. And he develops them. His pitching staff looks pretty damn good. Not really any tough spots here where I'm looking at where I'm like, it looks pretty damn good overall, and I think the lineup's good. Off to a little bit of a slow start with 2-4, but again, another solid roster. He's had some bad luck in the
Yeah, they're
playoffs.
definitely going to be competing with Colorado to see who's in the division.
Yeah, I think Seattle was leading the Alvarado for most of the season. Got cold and gave up the division last year. I think he was. I almost want to say he was like an ace seed, but I know that's not true. What is going on?
It's laggy, apparently, what Etten says.
Okay, well, let's just keep going. I don't know
Why do you tag Daryl, though?
Hold on, let me check. I'm okay. Yeah, this is why I don't like
It's
hosting.
all good. It's fine.
Okay, this is why I don't I don't like hosting. I let Ryan host. All right, the Mariners are good. Lost my train of thought.
If you want, we could just do the AL and come back and try to do the NL a different
I am
day.
not available.
Or around a different day.
I'm not available the next couple of days as well.
Okay, that's fine.
It's tonight and tonight only. So,
No worries, then.
let's go to Indy.
I think was Indy the next team?
Yeah. Another one of these teams that was trying to rebuild, and they were a playoff team. And then, what's his name? Josh got aggressive and made I'm going to call it a hastily trade for Ben Howell. And Howell is going to be...
Well, I don't think either of us minded at the time just to get him off of Arizona.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise because I was in some talks with Indy on a trade, and he went with Ben Howell, and I was a little surprised because Ben Howell was going to get hurt. There was a reason why he was available. So I think this team what's the word I'm looking for?
Just exceeded expectations.
Exceeded expectations, yes. I was drawing a blank there. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a playoff team. I think Water will find its level here. I think obviously they have a 1-5 sim. I don't know. I know he tried to kind of bring in some guys like Randall Zoss and other guys to kind of help out, but I don't know if I like this team enough to pick them for the playoffs. Obviously, one of his big losses was Maynard.
I agree with you, actually.
So,
they have some really good players, some young players, especially Kralik, Dillon. I like some guys in their minors, but on the major league level, Clark's a really good young second baseman. But a lot of first basemen. Boyles is an okay third baseman, really good defensively. But I don't really see like the pitching that'll be there. Like I didn't really love the Zoss move, but I love Josh. Josh is a great GM. I know him from other leagues. So I know Indianapolis will be good, but last year, yeah, like you said, they exceed expectations. They should have come back to earth a little bit this year.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good things in the lineup. Broadnax, Clark, Humble. Just I don't. And then if Howell comes back and is strong, maybe things change. But yeah, I don't love this pitching staff. Santana looks okay.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think there comes a point where maybe his luck runs out. Maybe, like he's been really lucky the last like few years. He's made the playoffs, and I don't think he tried. Like he was trying to rebuild, and then just his team said, "Nope, I'm going to keep winning." So, it's possible, but I think I like other teams more than the Ignition. So, let's see who would be next.
So I'll just say around 500.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be a 90 loss team. I think they'll be, a 500 team-ish. So I believe that will bring us up to Virginia. So these next couple teams, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to talk about. I think we're getting into the bottom of the AL. I don't understand how Sidney Wilson is still.
So, I mean, let me ask you a question then about Virginia, if we don't really have a lot of points about them. Like, I've looked at them a few times. Obviously, I haven't really had much trading with their GM, but Sidney Wilson sitting there putting up, like, MVP numbers. He's a really good third baseman. Would you then trade him if you were a team like Virginia? Because, like, he's using up his good rookie years. Or are you going to pay him and keep him on this team that's, like, okay only?
He should have been traded a couple years ago. I think it's been known Alberto's not going to move him now. Now, he could change his mind, but I think he'd be crazy to not see what you can get. I mean, this lineup looks okay. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. It looks better than I thought it was going to look. I haven't looked at the Black Bears in a while.
No, it's a good lineup. It's a very strong lineup.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to get out of
when you look at the pitching, though, you understand some more stuff.
So he's made some weird moves. Like he traded for Rosenberg. That was just a weird. Like I thought he was kind of in a rebuild, and then he trades for a veteran. So again, this lineup doesn't look like crap, but I'm also not in love with it either. And again, the pitching is going to be bad.
But the pitching's terrible.
Yeah. So he got Monsial from Pittsburgh, and that's your number one starter. He's set to reliever. In fact, no, he has a few set as starters, but yeah, this pitching staff might be one of the worst that we've seen, Bob. I'm actually appalled.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the worst one we've looked at so far, at least for sure.
Yeah, there's while the lineup looks okay, he's got some talent there. Actually, Armetta looks pretty good. If I was Alberto, I would be moving.
It's a good lineup, and he even has like Roche, the sixth pick from last year in AA. There's no pitching anywhere to be found on this team.
Yeah, and that's really going. I mean, I don't know what to do here. Like, do we move these bats and just blow it all up? But I don't know.
Or do you trade, like, what the price of pitching is these days, so, like, it's very expensive with the market being what it is. So either he has to trade future to try to get some pitchers that will go along with these bats, or you trade bats and then just rebuild all of it. It's a tough question.
I think it's easier to sell than buy in this league right now. So many teams are looking to buy that you can create a bidding war. Like I think Wilson would get you a pretty good haul right now, even with him being a little bit older. He's not that 20.
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easier to sell than buy right now. And again, Alberto's got to have the appetite for it. So, so that'll lead us to another rebuilding team. I believe that would be the Angry Trents and Philly. And this will be a quick one, Trent, and I apologize because you're a friend of the pod, but there's not much to talk about here. So he's called up a couple of the pitchers in black.
Wilson's a pretty good young pitcher.
Yeah, I was getting it. Yeah, he's called up a couple pitchers that look pretty good. In Walton and Black, Redding's a good closer, who he was trying to trade. He's rocking a 4-man rotation right now. Trent does some weird shit. But the problem is that this might be one of the worst lineups that we've seen yet. There is nothing in this lineup that makes me get even remotely excited. I don't know what Trent's doing. I normally know what he's doing. So Trent is not drafting well in the league. And I know
I actually like the guy he took this year with the third pick. He took the fellow pitcher.
So I say that because Trent's drafting all pitching. Right.
Faber.
Last year, I believe it was Tucker Day, who was the 111, who looks pretty good. This year, he took the pitcher, which was probably the right pick at the time. The problem is that Trent's not drafting any bats. And there's no bats in this farm that I'm going to get overly excited about. So he drafted one in 59 in Contreras, who is devved down to basically nothing. So that's my fear, is that he's going to have a decent looking rotation in a couple seasons, and maybe Rick Donald will be good. Looks like a decent enough prospect, but there isn't enough bats on the farm or in the major leagues that is going to be good.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I agree with you pretty much 100% on the team. But, I mean, if you'd rather have a lot of pitchers or a lot of hitters, with the market being what it is, you can generally find hitting in trades or in free agency. You know, there's always one first baseman or a corner outfielder, so you can do to add offense. I mean, pitching is always at a premium in every league, but really especially here.
Yeah. I wish that I would see more in the minors after, going through a rebuild now for a while now. I would see more in the minors that I would be excited about. And there really isn't. So Trent has some more work to do. So on the polar opposite of that is the Memphis Blues, who are coming, and they're 5-1. This team, who was the other team that we thought would be scary in another season? The Mets. Yeah.
The Mets, but
yeah.
No. Nothing.
I look at the Blues like I do the Mets. A couple of their big studs are up. This lineup looks a lot better than, it's been garbage for 2 or 3 years now. And Paul Ramsey and Snyder are up. Cobian's up. A couple of his pitchers are up. And Buzz Johnson. I'm not crazy about the profile, but Dubois up. This is a team on the rise, and I think a lot of us have called it on the pod before that Corey is going to be a menace pretty damn soon for the AL because there's more in the minors coming.
Yeah, I mean, if you could just put me in with that consensus. I also really like the Memphis team. Snyder's like a really good second baseman. I don't really know if I like Buzz Johnson. I'm not really big on stuff guys under 50. At least I have him under 50. But there's a lot of really talented players here. A lot of even just like solid players to really good players. And then you look at that minors. He has so many like really high guys in the minors that are still dubbing up or like you said, in a couple of years, 2 years, maybe 3 years. This team's going to be really good, I think, and fighting for the division title.
Oh, absolutely. I think, obviously they're 5-1 now. I don't think they're going to be a contender this year, but I could see them being a 500 team, and maybe squeaking in. I think the talent's going to be there, and I don't know what call up day is going to be like, but. I would have if I was the other teams in the AL, I would have my eyes on them. I would be worried what they are going to be looking like this year and next year and the year after that, because he has nailed this rebuild, just nailed it. So
yeah, it's a very confident, put together team. You can see it going in the right direction.
Yeah. And that division actually went really quickly because. 3 or 4 of those teams are very good. So let's do a ranking real quick. I'm gonna go Rockies 1. I'm gonna go Seattle 2. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go Memphis 3. I like what I see there. I like what I see there more over. I'm gonna go Indy 4. Virginia 5. And Philly 6.
We have very similar feelings about this. I'm going to slightly tweak it up top. I actually think I'm going to go Seattle number 1. I think Seattle will nip and just slightly beat Colorado. Colorado number 2. And then I was going to go Memphis 3 also, and I figured that'd be my big surprise, but you went there first. So then Indy 4, and then of the last 2, Virginia, and then Philly.
Okay. We should save our division for last because that's the most fun. Let's go Torres now.
That makes sense.
Because we could blow through. I think we.
No, so everyone else could just like drop the pod before they even get to it.
So let's go to the Giants. They won their division last year. So how bad is it? Really bad?
It's a pretty good team, the Giants. They're good.
So they decided not to resign, or maybe he wouldn't resign. Lucas is gone. And you I can't emphasize losing your franchise player is never easy. He's replaced him with Bob Reeder. I just that's not going to work out. I thought he said he had somebody else. Is he hurt? No. I don't remember who he said was going to.
Would you have re-signed Lucas for the money that he wanted? I mean, I get not wanting to re-sign him with I guess the amount.
Maybe he wouldn't resign. And that's the thing, is that he was such a big part of your team. I think if you had the money to, I think you have to. Just because, especially if you don't have a backup plan. If there's no backup plan that is going to be even remotely close to what Lucas has been to your team, I just have a hard time with it. I do. I don't.
Right. No, I hear that. I mean, I'm looking at the lineup now. I mean, Braun's pretty good. Shoehorn, Pahan, but it's not. It's definitely lacking something. It's definitely missing something.
Well, it's lacking Mr. Lucas is what it is, and yeah, I mean, you are relying on. I mean, these guys look pretty good. Like Shehorn looks okay, and Turnbull looks good, and Leva looks good. Um, but yeah, it's definitely missing pretty big cog. Now you're depending on lesser guys, and I know San Francisco has been kind of trending down in the last couple of years. I know they're still have been the best team in the Torres, but they went from an SCS contender to, kind of a one and done now. I think the rotation is still good.
They still have a at least pretty good rotation, I think. I mean, White is good.
Yeah,
Spears is good. Pugh sucks. I mean, I know Tyler always talked him up, but he's never really been good.
I don't know the Titus Pugh thing. I don't get it. So the one thing that Matt did was absolutely steal Alex Felton from the Orioles. That was such a shrewd move at the deadline. That kind of adds some juice.
Yeah, agreed.
There.
I was kicking myself for not going to get him once I saw that too.
It kind of adds some juice there, where it lengthens his rotation out, where you're not necessarily relying on Titus Pugh anymore to be a good pitcher. I think the jury's going to be out. If
to give you quality starts again.
I I don't like his bars say he should be good.
But you look at everything he's done in the majors.
Yeah. At some point he's got to start to pitch good. So the biggest X factor, obviously, his back of the bullpen is fantastic. He really missed. I think Baxter got hurt at the end of last year, and that really hurt him in the playoffs because he relied on other guys, and but his back two are pretty good. So, but I think this is probably going to be.
I mean, they have a lot of money. They have like $36 million. So I mean, they're willing to. If looking at last year, they're willing to make a trade.
Yeah, Matt is. I don't know where he's at in terms of what he want, if he wants to just keep running it back. Obviously, letting Lucas is kind of a sign. Says, hey, maybe our end is near, but I don't know. I think this is probably going to be the best team in this division. Probably. Obviously we'll have to look to see, but
I kind of like Cincinnati, but they will definitely be fighting with them.
So who finished second place? I think Milwaukee did. I think they got eliminated, and they're 0-6. So sunshine and rainbows. What is going on in Milwaukee? So I never, and I say this for Jeff, but I never know what Andrew's doing. I never know quite what his plan is. He always seems to have a decent roster, but they never are good. Whether it's the defense or it's the pitching or it's the line, there's always a glaring hole on this team. And defensively, I don't know if the defense is going to be good or not. They look like they'll be okay, not great, but I don't know what you think about the Brewers. I don't know.
The Brewers seem like a decent team. I mean, I'm still surprised that Kenville is giving him productive at bats. Has got 7 WAR for him after I waived him my first year here. But they have solid players. I really like some of their pitchers. I mean, I like LeBombard. They have some good hitters and Wagner, but overall the team, like you said, it's not a cohesive team that's I think we'll be able to compete for the title this year, but they did pretty well last year. It's a solid team. I don't know, do you like LeBombard? I mean, generally I don't really love guys with -50 control, but he's good. He's been productive.
Well, I asked Andrew if he would move him, and he said no. he was not going to trade him. He was going to be a Brewer for life. So that says to me, if you're not going to move him, then you're not going to move these other guys. And you're just going to keep running it back and trying to fill in the gaps as best you can and see where where everything falls. Andrew's not super aggressive on the trade market.
Yeah, I'm looking at his minors. He has some good left fielders like in Carr and Jackson on the way, but actually only left field. He's like 3 or 4 left fielders on the way. But so there is some bats that are pretty good coming up, but it's like there's still pieces that are missing from this team to really compete.
And actually, like his farm has some juice there. It's got Jackson and Carr and I don't know if Langlos will be good enough, but he's got some guys there, a couple bats at least, like the top 2 guys, that will add something. And again,
yeah, Carr's a stud.
Yeah, he's got some good bats. He's got Wagner and Conley. So if those guys come up at call-up day, his lineup looks a whole lot better. The problem is that it's 3 months into call-up day. So while his lineup and his ballpark will be, his lineup is built for his ballpark. He's going to hit a shit ton of home runs. I don't know if the pitching's going to hold up enough. Is that who is this guy? Except for a reliever, that's why he looks so good. Sebastian Mena, I think he's been around a couple years, and Vega's been around and been hurt. So his first 2 in his rotation are good, and then you start getting into some question marks. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is a team that could use a trade or 2, but you said that he doesn't really like to make that many trades, Andrew.
Yeah, I don't, especially in the NL. Like, if things break right, like, maybe they could win the division, but I think a lot of things have to break right, where it's not where the team is crap. I think this is probably going to be, a 500-ish team, plus or minus a couple games, especially because he's going to beat up on these crap teams in his division. So while he's 0-6
no, true,
now,
absolutely,
he's 0-6 now, and honestly, he lost to Oakland, got swept. That's awful. I think he'll be fine. Just I think he needs some pitching for sure. So he needs to fill out his pitching staff with some better pitchers. So would you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Okay, cool. Man, I want to say it's time for those Atlanta Braves. Pretty sure they finished third.
Time to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, and obviously one of my favorite teams. Me and D-Rich go way back when I was in his division as the Pirates. You may not know that. My original team was the Pirates, and we were in a division together. And
I'm not fully versed in the history of the lore of the league.
Yeah. So, Pittsburgh and Atlanta were rivals way back in the day. But so D-Rich, he always gets mad at me because I shut out his team. I think he might agree that maybe this isn't the best looking Braves team in the world. Obviously, he made the big trade for Apollo Contreras, and D-Rich, I know, wasn't.
But wasn't really even a big trade. I mean, granted, I traded into him, but he's a solid center fielder. He gave up like a first for him. It's like a solid deal. It's not like he gave up a ton for him. It's just he then was more worried about whether he could re-sign him, and then finally at the end of the season, Contreras was actually willing to negotiate.
Yeah, and I got the impression talking to him that he wasn't super excited about that extension number either. I think he had some concerns about him deving down. because he's kind of at that
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning
age.
on
He's at that
re-signing him.
age
That's why I
now.
was fine moving him.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, he may not happen. I don't hate the extension. I don't love it. But he's at that magical age where if you're going to get a dev down, like it could come out of nowhere. Iker Mesa's now 29. Still good. Still gets on base. And a lot of these guys.
Yeah, he's still an on-base machine.
Yeah. He's put these guys on the trade back. Now, whether he was really going to trade them or not, I don't know. He tried to sub me as catcher. Wasn't really interested. So he signed Kai.
Stanberg's good. He's a good catcher. I mean, if there's a team out there that needs him, I mean, maybe not you, but there should be teams that could use a good defensive, good hitting catcher.
Yeah. So I thought signing Kaiser in the offseason was actually a pretty shrewd move. He's been really good in this league. He is 31, but like the bars are still there, and he's got that big time eye. I know he loves that. Thought that was a shrewd move because he really didn't have a third baseman. So what he did get was a gigantic 6 home run week from Morris. And D-Rich and me, I talked to him a little bit about that trade, and I thought Morris was kind of like a fill-in until his big-time prospect comes up. And the Braves have a big-time prospect in Hunter Baker, who is going to add some juice to this team at call-up day. I believe he's going to come up. Hunter Baker looks like he's going to be a good player. And D-Rich is going to need that because the one thing that this team does not have is youth. If you look at kind of the core lineup, you know, they're all getting a little bit older now. They're all 29 and 30 and 31. Kind of the bit guys are the younger guys, like the guys that aren't expected to lead this team. So he needs juice in the lineup, and Hunter Baker's going to do that, I think, at call-up day. So what do you think?
I agree with you. I mean, I'm pretty much pretty lockstep with you on Atlanta. I didn't really love the Len signing in the offseason. I know the contract goes down a lot in year 2, but he has a pretty good in AAA. I mean, he traded for Broussard from the San Francisco, is a pretty good first baseman that he's paying nothing to. That's now sitting in AAA because he's paying Len some solid money. So I wonder if he's going to try to get off that Len contract at some point during the season. Or, I mean, you know, there was a first base and DH spots, but it's an okay team, but I'm sure there's been better Braves teams.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if we didn't at least talk about the crappy pitching. I think this is an old bit now on the pod. That is, I will say that he does have a couple young guys that look like they're not garbage, and Thurston Hill, who he got from the Yankees, which I thought was a pretty good trade, and Haggard, who he actually drafted, and has developed. Looks like he's going to be a serviceable guy for the rotation, but kind of the other guys, we're kind of looking at, you know, like a 50-50 play on if Gardner was good or Estevez. But what he does is that he goes for home run suppression on pitchers. So it's generally worked. Like his pitching staff doesn't really ever look good, but somehow they get the job done. So
interesting. I mean, so what direction would you have your good friend D-Rich go in? I mean, would you trade guys like Contreras and Mesa? I mean, obviously trying to trade Sandberg and go totally into the rebuild until the younger guys are ready, or just keep the team being solid and see what goes.
I've given up on trying to get him to rebuild. He will not rebuild. At least the hardcore trade everybody. So again, Contreras might be his best asset to move. But he's going to have to eat 50% of the contract. Like, nobody's going to take that contract now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like he's eating 50% of it.
He's
Mason's
having
really
he's a good
player.
solid center fielder. Maybe you could get somebody to take
Yeah.
that contract.
But I don't think. I just think he's going to fill in the holes. He'll trade for guys. He's been moving his first round picks lately, which has been a bit of a surprise. But D-Rich he's just a trader. He likes to trade for guys, and I don't see him ever doing a rebuild. I think he's just going to retool on the fly, and if the Braves are good, then the Braves are good, and if they're not, he'll say it's base runs luck. So.
Yeah.
But that'll lead us to the team who is 6-0, and a bit of a surprise, because I would be surprised at this. Our Cincinnati Reds are 6-0.
Oh, I like the Reds, so let's talk about them.
So they lost a starter in spring training to a CEI, but that was probably expected. Eventually, I think the one thing about the Reds is that they're injury prone. At least their starters are. I don't know what to think about the Reds. I thought this was going to be a rebuild. He kind of put those pitchers on the block last season. Nobody really traded for him, or maybe he wasn't around. I don't know. I don't know what to think about the Reds. I think they're going to be a middling team. I think defensively, this team might be pretty exciting. Offensively, I think they'll be okay. I think that. Hold on, okay, you talk. I gotta move a trade.
Sure, no problem. I actually really like the Cincinnati Reds team. The pitching wise, Chavez is really good. Obviously, Martin, Ortiz, and they're like. You said that they're injury prone, and yes, obviously in a league like this, that's obviously a huge matter. But even like Crawford, they're youngish, 24, 25, 26 as starters. The pen needs a lot of help, but the rotation, as long as they're healthy, would be good. And then the offense, led by Isaac Wow Lee, is like pretty strong. Conrado Greeley is a awesome leadoff hitter. I mean, super fast, amazing eye. Hit for contact, extra base hits. He's playing DH, I think, or let me see if he's actually fielding. Yeah, he's a pretty bad fielder, even though his ratings make it seem like he should be okay at least. But he is an awesome hitter, top of the lineup. Paez, Lee, Takahashi. I actually really like the Cincinnati Reds team. I think they will be competing for a wild card spot in the National League. And really, more so will come down to, I don't know what's going to be in the Sparrow. Who knows what it's going to be to get in the wild card? Maybe like an 87, 88 wins possibly in the National League this year. But I like the Reds team. I think they could be really good. And I'll keep talking, I guess. In the minors, there's not a ton there.
Yeah, I think I got the trade now. Okay. I think you like him a little bit more than me. I think that their rotation at the top is going to be kind of good. Actually, the rotation looks a little deeper than I was expecting. What's going to hurt this team is injuries. Spencer Murphy is going to get hurt. And you're going to have to find a closer, right? Like right away. Like you need a backup plan right away.
Yeah, they need pen help. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I worry that when injuries hit this team, because they are not the epitome of health, that's going to be the downfall. And again, I know Paul has been really unhappy with Greeley. That trade has not worked out for him. He gave up a shit ton. And actually, he was complaining to me in DMs about him.
His hitting numbers are good. I guess it's in the field.
I mean, the WAR is good. He was complaining about his home runs were down, And I'm like, yeah, man, he was really down to me about him. And I was like, I hadn't really looked at it. I don't know what we were talking about, but I was like, okay. I was like, I know he hasn't been great. And the trade hasn't worked out because I don't know if you were here for that trade, but it was massive. He gave up, two drafts.
No, that was before my time.
Yeah, it was one of those massive deals. It hasn't really worked out because the Reds haven't really been good since that trade. Like, he had that good young rotation was up, and he made the big move, and it backfired. So, yeah, I don't see why this won't be a 500-ish team. I don't know if they're a contender. For me at least. Maybe I like the rotation a little bit more now that I'm looking at it, but there's definitely some upgrades to be had. So, like, I'm Pod. I like to do matchmaker. So, what if Paul trades for Jackie Rosado? That just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? To pair Rosado with Isaac Lee.
I actually think that's a great trade. Yeah. But Rosado has some injury issues too, so he'll fit right in with Cincinnati.
He'll fit right in. Well, no, because I was clicking on his lineup now, and I'm like, boy, his back of his lineup is fucking trash. Paul needs to hit the trade market for center, not center field, but a second base and shortstop. Maybe center field too. But oh my lord, some of these guys in position. Yeah, this is the more I look at it, I don't know. I think the 6-0 is misleading here.
You think it's cool?
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's go see who is next. We did Milwaukee. We did the Braves.
Houston,
we did the Giants.
or Oakland?
Oh boy, Did you know that Andy traded his starter, Cantu?
He did. That's a surprise to me. Wow. Well, I think actually, I think he should have made the trade a year ago or 2 seasons ago when he could have got more for him. I know he actually could, for a fact, could have got more for him. But he did pretty well. He likes the player he got back. At least he likes the pitcher. What was the pitcher he got?
Nathan Drop.
1 second, let me look.
I believe it was Nathan.
Yeah, he likes Drop. He got 2 Detroit picks. I don't love the Detroit picks. I didn't think it'd be pretty mediocre, but he thinks there's a chance. Anyone in our division could. Who knows who's going to be, but it's going to be like a mid pick at best. But 2 firsts and Drop, that's a decent return at least. He think that's the best he could have done according to him. So good return for him. But he needed to make that trade. He finished first over. He finished the worst record last year with Cantu. The guy needed to be moved. As A. Ryan says, free Cantu. It needed to be. Need to be done.
Yeah. So there's not going to be much on the Major League roster to talk about. Maybe Joseph Ferreira looks like a good starter, and that's going to piggyback. Actually, Ferreira only looks pretty good. There's actually some young talent on this team. Which is surprising because I wouldn't have expected to see a good amount of it. I was expecting just to see a crappy roster. Some of these bats look pretty fucking good. Ariza and Briggs, who actually looks like a player on my team, like to a T, and Wilkinson, Clifford Wise maybe isn't a center.
No, there's some solid bats there, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some offensive bats here that are pretty good. There's actually 2 starters that are good. The bullpen was not going to be good, but my point was, click on the AAA roster, and there's 3 more pitchers there at call up day. In the 1-1 from last year, J.R.
Yeah,
Volklin,
Vogelin.
Drop, and Medina. So you take the 2 starters you got, which aren't number ones, but they're pretty good looking starters. You add those 3, you got a full rotation all of a sudden. Look around the league. How many teams have 5 guys in the rotation that they can be like, I'm confident in that? Not a whole lot. I'm going to be
you're right. That's a
positive.
rotation with upside, and that's
I'm going
actually
to be
pretty
positive
decent.
right now on Oakland. I'm usually pretty negative on Oakland. I like these bats. I like this rotation he's building. He's got assets now from the trade. It could be worse, right?
It could definitely be worse. We've seen teams that have a lot less going for them going forward.
Yeah, there's actually some players here worth talking about. Obviously he's got bullpen problems, but most teams are not don't have studs in the pen just outside of Arizona, right? Yeah, there's some good looking bats here. Yeah, nice. And he's got a
They look like they might be
from,
trending in the right direction, actually.
Yeah. I don't think this will be a contender this year or next year, but I would be in like 2 years. Like A's might be competitive. I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see
they
it.
could get out of like not being a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I think Oakland's going to be like, if Andy doesn't bring up those guys in AAA, which I think he's going to, if he doesn't and he's the worst team in the league again, like who cares? Like if he gets another top pick, who cares? I think the future it looks bright right now. I think he needs some bats. He needs to fill out the lineup. So
yeah, agreed.
Okay. And now we'll go to a team that is probably hot garbage again. That would be Houston, who I'm not exactly sure he's still part of the league. I know he's posting in the trade block, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with Houston. I don't know if there's a plan here, because if there's a plan, then all of these guys that he's had should have been traded. And now they're kind of getting older, and
yeah, you've been talking a lot about shortstops being worth first. I mean, I'm looking at Brinkley here. He doesn't have that big an injury history. He's a decent shortstop. You could probably get a decent return for him.
Yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't on the trade block. You could, like, if you were a team who were looking for a shortstop, like, I don't know, Fresno, probably would have given up a good return there for a guy who doesn't get hurt. Like, this is going to go quick, Bob. For me, there's not much here on this major league roster that I'm excited about.
Right. I mean, like, I wonder, do you think there'd be a price, like, there'd be a market for Brandon Love? I mean, he's injured, he's fragile-ish, but he's solid. I mean, I know he's been on the block since I've been in the league, but I think with what pitching is in this league, he'd probably get something for him.
Absolutely. I mean, he could. He should. He's got a good contract. It's okay. It's not. I don't love the ascending part of the contract when he's going to be 30 and he's already down to a 55. I worry about that a little bit. Honestly, the one pitcher who we could probably get a good return for is Simmons. Not.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's not 2 first guy, but it's a 1, a 2, and a 3 if he's pitching good. I don't think that's a 2 first guy, but like if you're like a team like, I don't know, the Cardinals, or if you're a team like the Angels, or like somebody who needs pitching. Like I cannot believe that you haven't just sent a
Or
message
like the
over.
Marlins.
I'm sorry.
Except for like the Marlins, they could
Yeah,
probably use a pitcher
I don't.
too.
I think the Marlins are fine, but yeah, I think there's teams that should be in the market for him. He's a min salary guy. He's got good looking bars. He's extreme ground ball, which is perfect. Yeah, I think you should be all over. I think the majority of this league should be all over this guy. Maybe even Urbeck as well.
Agreed. I mean, there's some decent players in the minors also. I mean, there's some decent young outfielders like Nieves, Bermeo, Bianco, but like there's not like top tier studs that like you'd be looking for in a team that's been like bad for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one guy. Yeah, he looks like a pretty good bat, Nieves, but he's not. He's not going to be enough. Like if there was like a full roster ready to call up, I would say hold on to the pitchers, but there isn't going to be enough here to change his course here. He's going to be bad. And a couple of those bats aren't really going to help a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be looking to move anybody.
I mean, I like he has a number 14 overall prospect, Channing Clancy, but he's like a high school pitcher that's coming from Yeshiva. So he's a long way off. So there's nothing really coming in the short term to help Sterling. So, like you said, he should probably trade the few guys on the roster that have some real value.
And Clancy does look like the real deal to me. And again, he's 19.
Yeah, for sure.
What I would be doing, I would be building around that core. 19 years old and 20 years old. I'd be loading up in the draft, and just building a core for in 3 or 4 years. So again, anybody and everybody can go. Honestly. So I think we're done with the Torres division. This one's going to be hard to call, I think. I'll let you go first.
Okay, I will go first. This is a kind of tough division. I'm going to go with San Francisco to repeat. Then I guess I'm much higher than them, but I got Cincinnati in second place. Atlanta, Milwaukee, and then Oakland and Houston. Although I could see Oakland sliding up a little higher depending on when he brings those guys up like we talked about.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to kind of agree with you. I think the Giants are going to win the division. I think it's going to be close. I think within 3 games, I'm gonna buy a little bit of your red stock here, if Paul can find some upgrades, in the lineup. But I'm gonna go Giants, Reds, Braves. I'm gonna go the same 6 as you. But I think you're right. I think we're right on the A's. Like you could see them make a late season jump if those arms are good. All right, Bobby, ready for the Rivera division. And this is going to be another fun one because
I'm ready to talk about the Rivera division.
Yeah. I think there's more excitement here to be found than I originally thought.
And that's just talking about London.
Yes, that's usually one of the linchpins of the pod is the Royals talk. But we are gonna have to wait because we're gonna go to Fresno, who I call the Fresno Yankees. So, Michael has pillaged the Yankees rebuild and added Riley Ryan and Barrett. And signed Hadley Smart, who was a former Yankee at the time. Ryan Penryn, I believe, did play a season with the Yankees. So this lineup is very good. What the problem is Ray Mallory. I don't think he gave it anything up, but as Josh will attest, he couldn't click accept faster on that trade offer. Click on injury history, and you have to scroll. I would be afraid of the amount of games I'm going to get from Ray Mallory. He's only played 110 games once in his career. He's going to get hurt.
That's tough.
You're going to be playing your backup. No ifs, ands, or buts. It was a head shaker of a trade, but I know he's looking for a shortstop, and maybe he gets 100 games out of him. But
right, we've highlighted a couple that are probably still on the market.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if I was Michael, how have I not inquired about Eichhorn? I just it seems like it makes too much sense, right?
Right.
Like I would have jumped it. I would have given twice what I gave for Mallory for Eichhorn, and I don't care what Ryan says. If you give me a 2, a 3, and a 4, I think I'm giving you Eichhorn. But the
right, or Rosado, as we talked about.
Yeah. This lineup is good. You know, it's all former Yankees and Marlins, which is hilarious. But again, the real strength is the pitching, which is frightening. There is not a better rotation in the
You've moved Hadley Smart down to second in the lineup. Do you like that move?
Meyer gets on base. He's got that high eye. I don't know. I mean, they're both going to get on base. I don't hate it. I don't mind it.
Yes, Smart does have really high gap power. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they both have high eye. They're both going to get. They both steal bases. I don't mind it. I honestly, if you batted Smart third, I wouldn't hate that either. Yeah, just there are upgrades to be had in the lineup.
But like you said, the pitching staff is top notch.
Yeah, I don't think there's a more frightening 1 through 5 in the league. I know we've liked the Rockies road and the Mariners. There isn't a rotation like this in the league. I know because I played them in the playoffs, and yeah, it just Whitson just shuts you out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. 1 through 5. So, God, this cough is awful tonight. So Paralov has been on the block a bit this offseason. Kind of interesting there. He's looking to move him. I don't know if there's a young guy, but this team is good to go. I don't really have a whole lot here. Michael has proven to be aggressive, and built it up in a season or two. Obviously inherited a good farm, and I don't see why they wouldn't be the class of the division. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Fresno's a really strong team. They finished with the number 1 record in the National League last year. Like I said, I don't know exactly which guys he brought in and which guys were there before him. Some of the pitchers, I think Whitson might have been there before him. But he made a really good job taking the guys that he wanted from the Yankees when the GM switched. I also traded him Miher, who's a really good hitter. So he's done a really good job building this team. I mean, the Norman Ewing trade was before I got here, but he's done a really good job of picking guys that would grow and be young, or still young. He traded for guys like Pre-Arbor, young guys that could grow with the team. And listen, Woody Jones is like an awesome closer. So that's another thing that he has that not every team has. He has like a couple good relievers. He has a strong rotation. Offense is awesome. Definitely the class of the division, and probably the class of maybe the National League again, because all the teams in the Sparrow are going to beat up on each other. He has a much easier road to the top of the National League.
So, honestly, I think the Rivera is going to be pretty tough. It's not like it's like not the Ponds, but the Torres, where it's a bunch of teams and they're all kind of mid, looking like this division is strong. So I think Fresno is probably
Texas
going to
still
finish
has a ways
first,
to go.
but I would be afraid of the next team a little bit. They've proven to be a pretty good team. That's the Pirates. Did they finish second or did the Blue Jays did? I don't know, but let's go to the Pirates first because I want to talk about the Pirates. So
I think the Blue Jays finished second last year, but the Pirates are good.
yeah, so let's go to the Pittsburgh first. What is catching my eye? Obviously, their lineup has been great. This pitching looks so much better this year. Lee Norman is up to go with Robichaud, which makes a strong 1-2. He made a move for Stewart for the pen.
He is using the six-man rotation, which is something that Etten has used in the past. So I don't know if he's planning on doing that all season. Hayes isn't really that good, so that might take a couple of wins away from him, but obviously would keep his guys fresher and healthier.
Yeah, he does some weird shit sometimes, but
I've been playing with that since 2018. He's been
because
using
this rebuild has worked. He made the SCS a couple seasons ago. I mean, the team is still young as fuck. They're all good. This lineup is great. I love Woodruff. The only thing that is going to hold this team back is injuries. If Hankey gets banged up again, I know Woodruff's been a little banged up a little bit. That's my only fear is injuries could derail this team a little bit if they get injuries at the wrong time of the year, like at the end of the year, and he loses them. Other than that,
I was worried I wasn't sure if Hankey was actually like a center fielder based on his 2061. He was like negative over 10 ZR minus, but last year he was pretty solid before he got hurt. So I mean, maybe he could actually stick at center field.
I don't see him in center field being good, but this game and ratings are silly. Guys who shouldn't be good are good, and guys who look like they should be studs are not studs. But so I think this team is
like you said, the rotation's really strong.
Yeah, it's stronger than it's been. That's been the Achilles heel. Really, has been like his pitching has not been ready for the bats. Now the pitching is catching up. There's a lot of good-looking arms on this staff,
and they're young, so that's like obviously a big help.
I mean, he has some 80 stuff guys. Now they're going to give up home runs and they're going to walk a couple guys, but like 80 stuff is 80 stuff. And I love me some 80 stuff, but I think they're one notch below Fresno. I think they're going to give. I think they're within.
Yeah, but they're definitely, I think, going to be a playoff team. Yeah, for sure.
100%. I can see that. Well, now, like, you don't know what's going to happen in the NL. Like, anything can happen. So, unless you win your division, I don't think we can guarantee a spot to any team right now in the NL. This is a hot take because the NL is so damn strong that unless you win your division, you could be the 4 seed, an 8 seed, or you could be out. That's how strong our league is. Now, I believe the Pirates are a playoff
especially because I think our division, the teams are going to be a little bit lower record-wise than last year because we're all going to be, it's like a knife fight in a phone booth. We're all going to be shivering each other.
Yeah, I believe the Pirates are a playoff team. I am higher on the Pirates than I've been in the last couple pods because the pitching looks so much better. So I think they are 3 games behind for Fresno. I mean, it's not much. I think they're one notch below. Because I think maybe the lineup on Pittsburgh is slightly better, but the pitching in Fresno is amazing. So, all right, let's go to the Blue Jays. We are rolling. What
Blue
do you
Jays
think
are a
about the
good
Blue
team.
Jays? They are 1-5.
It's a slow start, but I think the Blue Jays are a really strong team. I believe they finished second in the division last year. I really like Ryan Iwanicki. He had him in the pen as like a stopper beginning of the season and moved him to the rotation. He's a really good young pitcher. 50 endurance. I mean, it depends on how much that changeup gets his third pitch, but he did really well for him. He's at 2.62 ERA, I think like 1.18 WHIP last year, and 1.78 ERA plus. Yeah, he had a really good year for him last year. Iwanicki. Amin has a really pretty good team. Also, it should be a team fighting for a wild card spot. Like a lot of guys a lot of talent. I feel like maybe not the high end talent, but good players.
See, so that's kind of what my take is on the Jays, is that this might be the worst looking Jays team in 3 or 4 years. Like their lineup has always been really strong. Bit of a downturn. Like guys are getting a little older now. Like Dawson's 33 and Rosales is 31. So I'm a bit surprised at how much I dislike his lineup. It's strong, I'm just not crazy about it. Like he's depending on guys I've never heard of. These aren't your father's Jays anymore. A lot of those big names are gone now. But again, as you said, like his pitching staff is strong. So Zach Lowe is still kicking around and is hanging on, and Billy Fan,
my favorite NBA podcaster.
Yeah, he's still kicking around. So his rotation is strong. So the unfortunate thing, I believe that, and Amin was talking about this, is that Jack Tritt, who was an 80-80, and he might have been a top 10 pitcher in the league, like on the rankings page. His overall tanked, and I know that's it. Everybody goes nuts over overall, but it kind of matters. When the overall goes down, but the bars kind of stay the same. I know like it's ratings are like relative, so maybe the league's getting better, so his Jack Tritt isn't as dominating now. But like I know Amin was a little upset about that, but overall I think the Jays are probably a playoff team. I worry a bit that the lineup is kind of mid. He needs a big bat right in the middle of that lineup. So, would you agree?
Yeah, agreed. I agree with you pretty much everything about that. The offense is solid. Rosales had 6 WAR last year, which is a crazy good year for him. But it's missing like those cake toppers. This team, it's a good team. It should be fighting for a wild card spot. We'll see.
Yeah, he plays in center field too. Like, what's his defense like? Not good. I'm gonna say not good.
Not great.
Not good. But again, I don't think he has a lot of options out there. So, yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So we got the Pirates. We got the Jays. Who finished 4th?
London, maybe. No,
couldn't. Yankees were garbage. Texas was
Yankees and Texas were garbage. Yeah, I think it was London.
So here we go. This isn't going to work. It's not going to work. It's the same thing every year. His strategy is not going to work. Matt, love him, been in the league forever. His lineup isn't good. If Mazden is healthy,
I actually don't mind. I don't mind the starters, but like the trades, though, that's the free agency moves that he made to like really rebuild the rotation on the fly. I like Romano still, even though he's old. Fuentes, Gwinnett, I don't like, but like you said, the offense is going to be the issue.
Yeah,
Mazden had a healthy year last year. I mean, obviously, I paid a ton of attention to his team because I had his draft pick. So after I check my team every sim, I check his team, and like Mazden actually stayed healthy all year, so he's due for an injury. But it's gonna be tough.
So what? So we'll sound like a broken record here. So if guys get hurt, there's nothing behind the guys at AAA or AA. There will be nothing. So if Romano gets hurt, he's screwed.
Not only is there nothing behind them, there's no money, and there's also no picks now because they traded the 64 and 65 first to get the number 1 overall draft pick. So there's really no even ammo to go get guys if guys get hurt.
If Fuentes gets hurt, and he's been hurt like a lot recently, right? You're screwed. So the one chip he has to trade is Stacy, right? He's a good-looking, shockingly, he has a 22-year-old. He has a decent-looking young pitcher, and I think he was trying to move him actually. This will not work. His strategy is not gonna his lineup is not very good at all. He has 2 bats, and one of them may not last the entire year. I have a affinity for Miller Head as I drafted him, but he is not what he used to be. And Miller Head gets hurt. Caleb Rutter gets hurt. Luke Cantrell gets hurt. This could be a disaster. Just waiting to happen. So
obviously, when we talk about the Yankees, we'll tie in with it because the Yankees now own their future in 64 and 65, their first-round picks.
Yeah.
But this is a very big risk by London. Like you talked about, like I said, I like Slewinski, or that he traded a second to AJ for. But, this is not going to work, like you said. It has a very high chance of blowing up in his face.
So then that leads me to him trading for the 1-1. That's not going to work either. If you're going to trade for the 1-1, there better be a generational player there. Okay. That other team who owns that pick will want to trade it for. You know why the Yankees wanted out of that pick? Because this draft sucks. So, that catcher.
I agree 1,000%. Listen, I own 5% in it. I'm very, very well aware that the draft sucks.
Yeah. Then he takes. Now, is the catcher going to be a good player? I think he's going to be fine. I wouldn't have drafted that player until the 3rd round.
He was the 3rd catcher on my board.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't draft a catcher in the 1st round, even if we're looking at a stud. That's not a position I put a premium on in the 1st round. Then you traded 2 future firsts, for a catcher
what's the 2nd and a 3rd,
who may not play in the league for 2 seasons. At the best, he might be up at call-up day next year. This is not a savior of a franchise player. Now, if Matt had did this and it was Hadley Smart,
and this is not a franchise that's like one piece away, or like could use
I can't tell you guys how much I hated that trade. I finally can talk about it because I try to be, respectful, but I fucking hated that trade. But it's classic Matt as well at the same time. At the same time, I love it because it's classic Matt.
It's interesting. I spent all of last season trying to get his 2064 first, just because the London firsts are really good, just monetary. Just a good thing to have at the trade, because if that pick has a chance to go into the lottery away. So if you're offering first, I mean, like the Fresno first isn't really worth much because that's always going to be an end around pick. But guys, because people have this idea of Matt, the London picks are actually they're like treasury bills. They're very valuable.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who had a London pick. I was whatever trade I was trying to trade a player away, and I was trying to get a first round pick, and I got offered a first round pick. But the team also had a London pick. I go, well, why don't you just give me the London pick? And they said, nope, it's not available. They are uber valuable because you know they're going to be in the lottery, and they're potentially a top 10 pick. Because when this goes bad,
No, absolutely,
this could be the worst team in the league. Now, that's worst case. This
is like an NBA trade. Like when the Nets traded all their future for like the KG teams, or like when they did it again, like the past couple years ago. That when a team has like no future and they can't even like rebuild because they don't own their own first round pick, that's when teams like really screwed.
So why I hated that trade also because Matt deals from the future, right? So he trades his draft picks for players now to fill out the roster, to help him build up his roster, right? He trade to fix this roster next year. What are you trading next year? You've traded 2 years now, 3 years now. Like, there's nothing going to be there to help your roster now. So that's why I hated the trade. I hated it for the player. I hated it for the future.
I mean, that's the interesting thing about this game. Like, we're the GMs of the team, but we're also the managers of the team. So we have this responsibility for this season to try to optimize the team, but also as a GM, you're trying to optimize the next 4 or 5 years. So we always playing that the balance. And like Matt is much more in the push everything to the table for right now. And the torpedoes full speed ahead, and it looks like it's going to bite him in the future.
Yeah, because again, and he's going to run into the budget problem now, because with KC, he was astronomical, right? He had the biggest budget in the league. So he could just trade for more cash and fill out a roster, right? Well, eventually that budget's going to shrink now in London. So he's going to be up against it. And if you're trading more future picks...
Yeah, it's not a team that's heading in the right direction. So, it might be actually one of maybe the worst like future scenarios.
Oh, like ESPN does those power rankings in the future. He's 36. Like, he's 36.
Yeah.
And there's 10 miles of bullshit in front of 35. So again, and he's not going to be good for a while. And in the next draft, like, London's the first pick in the draft every year now. Like this is beyond.
Oh my God. And you just if you looked at like the Romano contract, that's like $15 million this year, then goes to 32 when he's 35, and then like $40 million at 36. Yeah. Like some of these contracts that he gave out, like not only are they bad now, they get so much worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what Matt does. He backloads everything and then he worries about it later. Just like this is if it breaks or if nobody gets hurt, if everybody can stay healthy, reasonably healthy, doesn't lose anybody, like this still isn't a contender in the NL. If this was in the American League, I would give him a puncher's chance, right? In the NL, zero chance.
Yeah, then he can fight for a wild card spot then. But here, he's got like no chance at any playoff spot.
No, I might. I mean, Oakland may finish with a better record than them. That's a hot take.
Yeah, for sure. We're both higher on Oakland.
Yeah. I mean, again, today his roster is healthy. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So let's go to the Rangers, who have been kind of in a rebuild. And he was saying about his prospects might be ready now, but I think he set them down because his lineup doesn't look.
If you look at Hunt, he has a really good SP in AAA, but like Hunt, Quixote, he has some guys that like his rebuild is starting to bear some fruit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was saying he's got like 3 or 4 guys that are just about ready. Yeah, and he's smart to hold keep him down. There's no reason right now to bring him up. They might be a little underdeveloped still.
Yeah, call up day is going to really change his team up some.
Call up day is going to be if Quixote gets another Devin, he's going to be special. Santos looks good. Yeah, there's a lot to like on this farm that's about ready. Mosher looks good. Looks like a solid like bat. I don't know what.
Yeah, and then pitcher wise, Hunt looks really good. Johnson looks good.
Yeah, Benjamin Hunt.
The team's going heading in the right direction. In a couple of years, Texas could actually be like.
Benjamin Hunt looks really good. In fact, I mean, I got OSA is a 60 overall already. He's 23. I might have put him on the opening day roster. I get it. Like
and he's a lefty. Wow, yeah, he's really good.
Hey, Bob, is that a 5 first round pick asset to have? I don't know if you asked about him.
He's definitely up there. Yeah, he's definitely up there. At least 3-4 first round picks. Like he gets the seal of a Bob for 5 first round pick approved.
So, yeah, I don't think this roster is great right now, but call up day everything changes. Yeah, Alfredo Vasquez is on this team. He signed him to a nothing deal. To hold down the fort. Yeah, I think call up day is huge, but there's no pitching right now. No pitching whatsoever. Maybe Flowers looks okay. Tim Breer looks okay. Yeah, maybe I'm short selling a little bit. Yeah, well, this is a team to revisit a call-up day. Not a contender, but not as cursed as Sam thinks.
No, definitely. And this team definitely looks like it has a direction going. And in a couple of years, they'll definitely be, maybe when their guys are ready, competitive.
Crazy is the NL going to be, Bob? Like, the Rangers are up and coming now. Like,
oh my God, it's going to be so bad.
Dude, like, we don't need.
Yeah, but I'll have ruined the Marlins by then, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Well, I mean, that's true. No, but, like, I think we're high on the A's. I kind of high on the Rangers, at call-up day and next year, and the Pirates aren't going away, and Fresno's not going away, and we haven't even got the Sparrow. The NL is a fucking blood.
I actually like the stuff that the Yankees done also, but they're pretty far away. But I like the game with the Yankees.
Yeah, well, so I guess we can skip over to the Yankees as we try to speed this thing along, because I think Sparrow's going to take a while. Deep rebuild here. He sold everything he could. There's not much left on the major league roster to move.
Yeah, Hasty is like the only real major leaguer that could probably get a return.
Man, boy, I can't believe the shortstop is still on this team. That's a good looking shortstop. But yeah, there's not. I don't see anything in the lineup. I know I've been through the pitching because I got in on the fire sale as well. Yeah, there's no pitching here. VJ.
Yeah, but they have 5 first rounders in this draft, including and then obviously they traded 1-1 for the London pick. They have 3 first rounders already next year. They are asseted up at the ass, and then also when you look at it, they have the number 1 prospect in the game, also from their rebuild in Melgene. So like I think Jeremy's done an amazing job because like the team was pretty good, the Yankees team, if you recall from the past couple of years.
Yep.
I mean, they were a playoff team, and he broke it down, but he's got some like really good assets out of it after obviously the whole thing with the voided trade with Ryan. But since then, since the new GM freeze, since he's come back, Jeremy's I think done an amazing job.
Wow, that's high praise. I think he's gotten good value for his trades. Obviously, the 1-1 pick was frugal. Obviously, it's as we've talked about with when we talk about London, this draft not very good. And I think trading out of the 1-1 was smart, especially trading with London. I don't think he lost too much value there. I know he's had a couple picks in this draft already. So I'm excited to see how he rebuilds. We actually don't know a whole lot about him, about his strategy yet. But I mean, obviously he's tearing this fucker down and just going to rebuild. And again, I mean, 3-4 years away. I mean, Mel Jean is going to be up in 2 years. He's already deving up. He's hit the age of 21, and it's starting to pop a little bit. Be interesting to see. It looks to me on Mel Jean like those defensive bars have gotten better. Because he was not a good defensive player at drafted. I wonder if he's been through some dev labs. Contact, plate discipline.
Sounds like he's unsuccessfully completed it.
Yeah.
At center field, though, interesting.
Yeah, I think I think his defense has gotten a little bit better. So I don't remember him being quite that good. But yeah, it's
if he gets even solid defense with what his back could be, he's a monster.
The bat's going to be elite. Yeah. Again, I think this is just a waiting game. Let's wait. Let's keep drafting. Keep finding if there's anybody to move. I would move the shortstop.
Yeah, keep making high picks.
Yeah, I think you can move his shortstop. Maybe Hasty. Again, these teams that we've seen with bad lineups should be calling up the Yankees. Like there's a couple assets left here. So okay, is that everybody?
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Is that everybody? I think it is. All right, you go first. Rank them.
I think that's the entire division, yeah. Fresno, obviously, number 1. I'm going to go Pittsburgh, number 2. Toronto, number 3. Am I going to go London 4th or Texas? I'm going to go London, I guess, 4th. Maybe still be another healthy year. He does have a bunch of pitchers. Romano is still solid. I feel that contract of year 1 will be good. So London 4th, Texas 5th, and then the Yankees in the last. But that's where he wants to be.
I'm going to flip the Rangers in London. Fresno, Pittsburgh, Jays, Rangers, London, Yankees. I would go London last, but the Yankees really have just a rebuild roster of nothing. And he's got a couple more guys to move. So again, I would bet that London's going to be really bad. Bob, are you ready?
Let's do it. Let's hit the division.
Guys, we've saved the best for last. The Division of Blood.
So everyone else can turn up the podcast now.
This division,
which is all for us, Circle Jerk and the Sparrow,
is gross. So we've been talking about this for 3 years on the pod. When we first had the draft, and Detroit and Minnesota were in a rebuild, and you had the Marlins who were elite, Arizona was elite, the Cubs were up and coming, and Vegas was up and coming, and we all said 3 years ago, what is this division going to look like when Detroit and Minnesota come out of the rebuilds? Well, folks, we're here. This is the Division of Blood. And if this off season wasn't the epitome of it, when you seen Detroit go get Svela, and the Knights go get Cantu, and the Twins are making moves, and Arizona's making moves, they go get Jacoby Young because they have to. Okay? Holy fuck. At this time, any one of these 6 teams can finish first and any one of these 6 teams can finish last. That's where I'm at with this division.
Agreed, 100%.
Like there is zero, and we've talked about this in our Sparrow chat. There is zero margin of error. You cannot go 1-5. Okay, you cannot lose players to injury. Okay, there is none of that right now.
4 of the top 5 pitchers in the game are in this division. Cantu, Cooper, Edwards, and Svella are, I think, the 4 best pitchers in the game. Only Whitson is not. And then you also have Chirez and other great pitchers on this. Yeah. It's so, like, crazy every sim.
Yeah, and we'll get into the teams, but I would be remiss if me and Bob didn't reflect on this division, how psychotic this, like I fret every sim I play in our division.
It really is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I played the Twins in Vegas, and I felt like it was an off sim. I'm like, it's not that bad because it's not Arizona and Miami, or I'm like, and I still went 2-4. I'm like, so, who finished first, Bob? Was it the Marlins or was it the Diamondbacks?
I won the division last year with 96. I won the division with 96 games, finished 3 games ahead of Arizona.
Okay, Bob, break down why you are ruining the Marlins.
Okay, well, first year I took over the Marlins, we finished first in runs scored and first in runs allowed in the National League. Last year we dipped to third in offense, third in runs scored, and third in runs allowed. So a slight decrease, but mainly last year's decrease was because of injuries and guys like McIver and running taking a slight developmental hit down. I have traded away Colton Anderson this offseason, which was a pretty big move. He's one of the best hitters in the league, full stop. But he had 1 year left on his contract, and I'm not in the business of paying first baseman $27 million like a year. I mean, I get why some people might do that, but I thought it was a pretty decent piece of business, like getting a good young pitcher and then signing Holder as a free agent right afterwards. We should still be a pretty good team. But yeah, this division is absolutely brutal. A lot of guys on our team are slightly worse. Starman got a little worse. Rowland's a little worse. Our bullpen's a freaking dumpster fire like last year. So I think we'll be pretty good. We're definitely going to win over 90 games, but I'm probably letting Sam down a little bit because I don't think we're going to win the division this year.
So I will agree that the Marlins are not as good on paper as obviously the dynasty, and you've walked into it's a tough spot. Okay, like you're taking over a dynasty. Nothing you have done has been you can question the trades, and you've got rid of Gates and Shulman and Contreras. But those might have been a necessity move because of budget, right? Like, it's not like you were just giving guys away. You got pretty good returns.
That's absolutely the case. Like you look at this offseason, I had to let Anderson go because I got to re-sign now Bando. Bando and Roland were both up for free agency, so I let Anderson walk so that I could re-sign Bando and Roland and some other guys. So yes, I have had to make some tough decisions. It does help when you have young guys on free agent young guys on like their rookie deals, but we do have some guys who come up to pay. Starman we have to pay next offseason, so I did have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, and again, nobody's crying that the team does not look as strong as it has in the past.
Right, and nor should.
And what I love is that you are uber aggressive. You aren't fucking around. Okay, upon walking into the league, you're like, "Well, I need a number 1 starter." Okay. Here's Starsman. Boop. So, Sam was the opposite of you. He would have never made that trade. In fact, he wouldn't have traded any of your trades. I've said this. None of those trades Sam would have made. He wouldn't have traded with Atlanta twice because that's his rival, but that's not your rival. I mean, we'll see. I have joked that Miami's not going to make the playoffs this year. And that's legit. And I don't think you will disagree. There is a chance you don't make the playoffs because the NL is just so damn strong.
I agree with you 100%. Listen, in this division, the team plays bad for a little bit. I could absolutely see that happening. We have the wrong injury. It could 100% be the case, but I think we should be pretty solid. Bando is still, he won the MVP last year. He's a good hitter. Hickson-Baugh is also a pretty fantastic outfielder. And then I don't know, it depends like how many games I can get from Pritchett. That was obviously a controversial trade when I made it. I think a little bit got Matthews for Pritchett, but when he's healthy, he's one of the best third basemen in the league. And I actually have running as to play third base the other half of the year. So I actually like Pritchett for what he gives me, but he could end up only playing 20 games this year, and then absolutely I could have missed the playoffs.
Yeah, well, no, it would take a massive amount of injuries and bad luck. I think this is a playoff team. But I wouldn't guarantee it. You know, because again.
No, that's fair, but I 100% agree with you.
Okay, so who finished second? And I already know the answer to that. It is our buddy in Arizona, Orion, as we like to call him, Mr. Dev everything up and blah blah. Look at me, I'm shitting out prospects.
Mr. Prospect shitter.
Yeah, oh my god, it's. I've said this on the pod. He's actually a really nice guy. In DMs, in public chat, he's a fucking asshole. And again,
He's playing the heel character like in wrestling. Every league does kind of need one.
I would put Arizona is probably making the playoffs, but again, like I wouldn't guarantee anything. Like I and I'll say this for all 6 teams in the Sparrow. No guarantee any of us make the playoffs. I think some have better odds, but I think Ryan made the Jacoby Young trade because he's seen that everybody else is making moves. And I think he got him at a
I thought that was maybe a little more a move just to make a move. He got him for a really cheap, as you were saying, but like he is coming off an injury. It's not a lot of risk on his part, but I'm actually interested that he hasn't like extended Paul Cooper long term. That clearly Ryan is a little nervous about maybe his back or not giving him a long term contract, but I assume he has to at some point, as long as he can't give him any more some bullshit, 1-year contract with a player option.
If he has to, I wonder if he won't talk, because you would have signed that. I don't care what he's asking for. You sign that extension. I don't care if it's $38 million.
Right. You look at Svela, who was just coming off an injury, and we were still salivating to get him.
Because the contract is so damn cheap. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if Cooper's not talking. Man, if Cooper won't talk extension, boy, I don't know what Ryan does. Because, Musgrave's a great number 2, but, that's a huge hit. But that's all. I would
just like to see that. I would just like to see it. I'd like to see Matt give him $100 million in free agency.
There would be 35 GMs all over that. He could get $50 million a year easily.
Yeah, to break the smart market.
Yeah. Overall, this lineup is pretty damn good. It's well put together. It's good defensively.
The lineup's good, but in that ballpark, usually they finish around 7th or 8th in runs scored.
Obviously, offensively led by Castillo, who was a fucking stud, and Cambre, who probably the best center fielder in the league. Maybe Bando's better, but he's a little bit older. It's a well put together team. He's not afraid to make moves. He, just shits out. I'm gonna click on his farm. I'm sure it's loaded with 50s and 55s. Yeah, it's just loaded. There's a lot on the farm. It looks like there's good depth.
Yeah, Ryan. This is a really strong team. There's a reason. When I joined the league, I noticed I know Ryan. I noticed the Arizona team is a big threat to me. That's why I offered him the 5 first for Paul Cooper when I first came in. I thought I may be able to take out my main competition. But this is a really good team. The offense is good, but in their ballpark, they don't really finish top 5. But the Howell for Castillo switch, I don't know if it worked out so great for him last year, but long term, that's obviously a good move with Howell keeps getting hurt, and Castillo is a stud. So he's going to be the new rock of that offense. So this is another team. I think Arizona might be the favorite to win the division. They were definitely in the preseason predictions.
So the one thing about his farm, it may not have elite specs, but there's just tons of depth. Like, he's not bringing up like a 40 overall if a guy gets hurt. I will give Ryan that. He's got tremendous depth in the minors, where he gets an injury, he can just plug and play. And yeah, I would bet this is the first place team in the division. If I was betting man.
Yeah, most probably.
So I will say. So you mentioned that you offered the 5 firsts for Cooper. So I seen the trade offer. He sent me it because he asked me what I thought of it, and you really sent him into a tizzy over it. He didn't know what to do. I said
he even accepted it. The deal fell apart because we couldn't get love from Houston.
Yeah. He told me that there was a third team because he needed a replacement. I knew about how it fell apart because that's an auto accept. I don't care what. Like, I'm gonna take what. Your offer was crazy. So, I hadn't.
Yeah, it's a sliding doors moment for the division.
Yeah. I mean, he said it didn't work out, so it's worked out for his favor. But I mean, if I was shocked. I'm like, I think you click accept at some point. Like 4 firsts or 5 firsts in prospects, like even you have to.
Especially for a GM who could shit out prospects at will.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Who finished third in this division? Was it the Cubs? It was. Cubs, who made it all the way to the
I
SCS.
think it was the Cubs.
Oh no, Soul Dad's hurt again. So Jeff did not win the SCS, so I can officially not retire. What the fuck is Jeff doing? Because that's the classic Jeff line from the pod. I know what he's doing. He's built one of the best rosters in the league. Lineup is solid as usual.
Especially the offense. The offense is really strong.
Yeah, and he dealt away the guy to Arizona last year. His second baseman, who I was trying to trade for as well, Sager. But I think he gets hurt a bit. So I think that maybe that's why Jeff wanted to move him. I was in on that trade as well. Arizona just paid more. I think the Cubs are.
So that injury really hurts because his rotation is obviously the weakness.
Yeah, so if the Cubs are healthy, they are a problem. If they're not, this team falls back a bit. Especially with he got pitching last year. Like, his pitching was healthy for the most part. So his number one's out for a month. That hurts. And he's
That's going to be rough.
Yeah, and Jeff will attest. He's one of those he prays does not get hurt. But again, I think his roster is one of the best in the league overall, so he can withstand it to a point. This is some of the best pitching he's had. With Sears is a solid number 2, and Williams is a solid number 3, and he might have the best closer in the league in Stallnacker.
Yeah, Stallnacker. He's really good.
Yeah. Then of course he blew a save against you, of course. This sim, but I worry if injuries catch up.
He knocked me out around the players last year, so it's fine.
So his bullpen looks like it's better, and I think Jeff kind of posted about that he felt like his bullpen was his depth is better. I worry if injuries catch up with this team a little bit. We could see a bit of a fallback. Because again, I think the roster is good, but I don't think they're deep enough. Like, Arizona's deep. where they could weather an injury. I don't see much in the minors to help out if things
Yeah,
go.
I mean, besides for me, the rest of you guys in the division really got stronger this year. I don't think the Cubs really like stepped up like the rest of the teams did.
Actually, he did. I'm forgetting he did make a big trade, but the guy got hurt. Oh, he has two guys. Well, his big bats are all hurt. Wolf is out for most of the year. He will be back, and then his big trade with Atlanta for Pan Sienna. And of course he got hurt, so he's back in a week. So, and Wolf will be back August ish. So, that's two big bats that are not in the lineup. So I guess we should, though. So he gets one back in a week. That definitely lengthens it a bit. But yeah, just if things go bad here, I worry a bit. But again, super strong. Like Jeff's a strong team. And again, yeah, as you said, those other teams are not.
I mean, like there's no team in this division that I'm not going to say is like a playoff. It's not like a playoff like going to be competing for it. So Chicago, the Cubs will definitely be there. Obviously, went to the World Series last year, so things break right for them. They could actually go as far as anybody.
Yep. Okay. Hey, guess who's next? Those lovable Detroit
Let's do it.
Tigers. Yeah. Call-up day. Everybody came up. So the league has a new AJ, and his name is AJ Carbajal, and he might be the best hitter in baseball in a season. I wish he could play center field.
Yeah, he's got really great bars. He's a stud.
Yeah. I wish he could play center field. In a pinch, I could play him. So I have a bit of a roster crunch here. I have, and this isn't cocky. I have too many bats. I have two bats. I can't get in the lineup, so they have to play utility roles that I'm not happy about. So Severs is a super sub where he's going to play like every third or fourth or fifth day somewhere in the field. And I can't play Powell in the field because I have too many. Like I don't have room for him. So I have a bit of a problem there. It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have though. Too many hitters.
Yeah. I get my second baseman back this sim. Obviously you won't have him on the roster, but he's on my roster now. Garcia, who I got from the Yankees. He's coming back. So
yeah, I always liked him. I thought about him, but I always wonder how good a fielder. Like he's pretty bad in the field. But
yeah, I'm not crazy about the fielding. But garbage, and I think the bat will outweigh the glove. So that being said, I have some concerns. So one of my concerns is my shortstop, who has gone from 80 range to 70 range. He went from elite to not elite fast. I have real concerns there. Clay Gardner was 80 range and beautiful, like plus 18 ZR, and last year was negative ZR.